live stream has commenced. If you are receiving this transmission, you are the solution.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's happening, fellas?
Oh, good.
How we doing today, everybody?
Doing good, man. We were joined by Brightlight today. Sorry we missed last week, everyone. I had a little bit of a cold. I hadn't had one in 5 years, so it kind of took me off guard. So we're back again this week. How's your week been, Brightlight?
It's been good. It's been good. Nice and calm this weekend. They shut down the highway and stuff like that. So less traffic near our town. So it's kind of nice. They're repairing some of the road and there's no detours. So, yeah, it's been kind of calm around here.
Well, at least they're investing in the roads. So I wish they were doing the same here in the UK. We're just getting more and more potholes. How you doing?
Yeah, little by little around here, but yeah.
That's good, man.
These days, those potholes are being made because people are just jumping in the road and just like,
yeah.
I don't want to say it, but you know what I mean.
How you doing, Vinlock? How was your week?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's been a good week. Just went for a really cool first bike ride with my little 6-year-old, so we were having some fun. That's always good.
Nice,
and,
man.
It's been a tough. We didn't stream last Sunday, and last Sunday was a really difficult Sunday for everybody.
Yeah, of course. That was obviously the bad news of Charlie Kirk, right? That was Sunday, right?
Yeah, and this was a full-on execution, and the real question is what's really going on, right? That's the $64,000 question, or that's the God question. What's really going on? Man, we can go down the rabbit hole. We can go down all kinds of conspiracies. We can just say God took him because he needs him. There's a lot of things we can talk about. At the end of the day, we have seen an uprising in church. We have seen a population growth of people who believe. I feel like we had a spiritual awakening in society, and we've repelled our consciousness, and people who were on the fence for so long have now said, wait a minute, holy God, like this is what you're seeing right here is real, right? Is this a spiritual rapture is the question that I have. There's a lot of conversation going on about, rapture coming and this and stuff, and a lot of awakening is happening, and the word is from God that those who know, right? Those who can prophesize, can see, and can see the timing of it. My question is, was this a spiritual rapture? Was this a trigger or something? I mean, I was finding Jesus, as you guys know, months before this, right? I've had years of coming to Jesus in my life. But it's gotten very serious over the last 6 months, and especially over the last few months. And then this happens, and I'm just blown away. I'm absolutely just blown away by what we're seeing right now. And I just hope that it's coming from God, and that we can find a way to just completely beat the evil. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of the evil that we see, because we are so much more powerful than any evil out there.
Yeah, what's your take on the bright light on the old Charlie Kirk thing?
Charlie Kirk thing, I saw his debates, stuff like that. I kind of saw him from a distance. I always kind of believed in what he was doing and things like that. And what happened was like kind of a tragedy. And it was a tragedy. It wasn't kind of, but like it shouldn't have happened. I saw the people like dividing, celebrating his death, stuff like that. I have other people around here kind of doing the same thing. I'm just like, what's wrong with you? What if it was somebody else? Like, it's just like another JFK moment, another Martin Luther King moment. it creates that divide, and it awakens people onto what side they want to be on, good or evil, whatever. Kind of like Jesus Christ's side, kind of like the devil's side, whatnot, things like that. Yeah, and I'm kind of like, in a small percentage, happy to see that people are finally getting awakened. But because of Charlie Kirk and what happened with that, that is a tragedy for the family. And the mother of those kids, Charlie Kirk's wife, like her standing up doing that video, that is far more powerful that Charlie would want in the world than, you know, what anybody else probably would have done.
You know, I'd argue that this is even more powerful than Martin Luther King.
Definitely.
I wouldn't necessarily say JFK because he was an actual president, but this was, I believe, to be a future president. And I think that the powers that be knew that, and they had to put the stop to it now. And the fact that it was seen by millions the second that it happened, we see the uprising now. So this is a tremendous moment. I hope that people around the world can take advantage of it for good and do everything that we can do to bring as much good to the world that we can. Fight the evil, put your armor of God on, use as much tech as you can. One of the things Sammy and I are doing is we're going to be fighting the Antichrist. We're going to be fighting the AI Antichrist, because part of artificial intelligence is being used by evil, and we have to battle that. We absolutely have to battle the evil component that's coming out using AI, whether it's in crypto or simple internet stuff or whatever it is, right? There's a very serious component that is being implemented that the evildoers out there are using AI. And it might just very well be the top hierarchy that is controlling all this big tech that's facilitating that. So we've got to stand up, put the armor of God on. Let's go. Let's all power to, all praise to the Lord, and let's make it happen. And God, let's take crypto to the moon. Let's go to heaven with crypto and make everyone abundantly wealthy so we can use that wealth in God's name. I pray.
And maybe God took him to ignite the fire.
He wears the armor of God with Jesus right now on the battlefield over us, and he's commanding our armies. I know it.
And there's always a reason for something. And I'm just happy to see the actual people are actually finding unity behind the Charlie Kirk side, and people are waking up on the other side, hopefully, and it just moves on from there. Yeah. And that's pretty much all I got to say about it on the Charlie Kirk.
I think we're going to see a lot of the average kind of Democrats. I think you're going to see a lot of the average Democrats that are kind of on the fence, not really political, open their eyes and be like, wait a minute.
And they're going to choose a side. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I forgot what I was going to say. Anyways.
You'll get it.
Yeah.
What's it like up there? You guys had a huge, gigantic 3 million man march in London, while the bought media was saying 100, 110, 150,000, lying to the public as usual. What were you seeing up there, brother?
I was seeing the videos of the
Sammy. Also, I think he was asking about the UK. Last Saturday, we had a huge protest in the UK, the largest, I would say, nationalist protest in history. And this was mainly against the fact that we're going into a very authoritarian administration at the moment in the UK.
Right. We're going to talk about that.
People are being arrested for their free speech. The Charlie Kirk thing is kind of similar, right? He was shot for his free speech. Whatever you think of him, I said something last year. I think there was someone that died. I think what was his name? Who's that famous guy? One of the Rockefellers. I think he died last year, and people were celebrating his death. And I don't like that man. I don't like that family. I think they've done nothing but cause pain on this world. But I'll never celebrate someone's death. I think once they're dead, it's very tasteless to celebrate anyone, even your enemy's death.
I agree with that.
You should never celebrate someone's death because it's a very low vibration.
You're stooping to their level, and that shouldn't happen.
Yeah. So obviously, yeah, we just mentioned that today. I know there's many streams you probably watched all week talking about that, but we thought we'd mention it because there's huge amounts of people there. And there was also a big event in the UK in Hyde Park in London of people remembering him. So I think whatever your opinions of him, we have to kind of push back against political assassinations, because it'll happen to someone you like one day, even if it's not happened to someone you liked, this time. So we've got to stand up against that and promote freedom of speech, right? Freedom of debate.
Yeah, the travesty, there's many travesties, but one of them that is very, very obvious is he was killed for speaking.
That, and he probably could have been a future president, so they stopped a future movement in a sense.
Yeah.
But they also ignited another one at the same time. So
he was becoming a leader of people 40 years and younger, greater than anybody other than Jesus Christ himself in history, in modern times, right? Since we've had the internet, since we can video stream, since we can do all of this, there's been nobody that as now, especially now, has been able to create such a following. And we see it in his funeral.
Before we go on, can everyone please try and retweet this stream? We managed to get up to around 70 live viewers last week, which was awesome. But we are trying to grow. So if you can retweet this, or just even give it a like or drop a comment. I know a lot of you watch on X, but we can only read your comment if you come over to the YouTube side. Because some of the subject matter we talk about, YouTube doesn't really like to share us much. So we kind of have to rely on and on that note, Vin, have you got a light you can switch on in that room at all?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That'd be great. But yeah, let's jump into the charts. Obviously, we've missed last week, so we tend to have a look at the weekly charts.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's much better. Thank you.
Next to my window.
Yeah. We tend to look at the weekly charts, and we've got 2 weeks to catch up on now. Obviously, we're closing the weekly candle. So should we jump into the charts, guys?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
If anyone is on X, by the way, and you do want to DM us or post anything, like I'm bouncing back and forth while we're on here looking on X also. So just make comments. Let's talk, retweet, and stream this for us.
Yeah, and broken sarcasm. If you want to drop in your TikTok onto the comments there, we're happy to bring it up on screen. But let's have a look at the charts. Let me load this up. Let's start off with the Russell 2000, and if you guys want to jump at any point, please do. So let's go for the weekly. So we've missed the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, we were talking about this resistance line here, 2,479, the previous all-time high over here. And so we were kind of discussing here. It looked like we want to come up and touch it. Looks like we've gone 1, 2, 3. The question is now, do we get rejected? But I say 3 times a knocking, and it looks like you want to bust through. Any comments there?
That's
Vin?
a serious V, a very, very serious
V-shaped recovery. Yeah.
I mean, I see just a move up, like we saw back when we see that breakout to the left there, right? Yeah, right there. Yep, right when we get that breakout, we're just going to have an extension. We're going to see a lot of things happen where we're going to see that kind of extension. I think silver and gold are going to have that extension is going to come. Silver is going to break out of 50, and then it's going to go right to 100. It's going to blow people's mind. People are not going to understand what's actually happening. The decoupling and the taking away suppression of silver, and it has all to do now with money. And you're going to see what the dollar is going to do, and everything is just going to go the opposite direction. So we'll see this in the small caps just absolutely take off.
Especially if they do another rate cut next month, we'll still be overheated with the Russell and the S&P and stuff like that. You could see some sideways action till then, but I still see it going higher myself.
Sammy, go back to the chart real quick.
Obviously, we've had the rate cut, right? And we had the 0.25% rate cut. And obviously, we're expecting another one, right? As you say, next month.
So that top line MACD that you see up there, right? You see, so when we have that, right? So that compared to where we used to be, where that last big run was, right? So you're looking at right there. Yep. So we got more room to go, man. We look at the yellow where both were, where that was.
Some of the RSI.
Right. So look at where the yellow is now. Right. We've got
a lot more room.
A lot of movement we can have in that last from
Probably
70
another month
to 100.
two.
We get a lot of price.
Yeah, look
pressure.
at that. Yeah, so last time we were just for everyone that's not sure about this, the RSI, the relative strength index here, we generally say once you're above 60 relative strength, let's draw that in for everyone. Once you're around above 60 relative strength is the line there.
Right.
That means you're in the bullish control zone. So it looks like we've just broken above that. And as Vin says, the last time we reached this point,
Right, was right there, right? Same
was
place
right
where we
there.
are
So
now, same
look,
thing.
we're at this point.
Look at the stochastic.
We still run up another 39%.
Exactly. Now, and that's the index. 40% in the index is 400% in the actual components. So we're talking big moves coming.
Yeah. So I think we are still very bullish. Let's look at the S&P 500. S&P 500 making all-time highs. Last 3
kind
weeks,
of leading the Russell in a sense. So
yeah.
yeah,
Look at that. We had that bullish kind of hammer. The last time we streamed.
Yeah, that just tells you where the Russell's going. That's all season, right? So you see it. You'll see that rotation.
Looks like we're coming into overbought territory soon, but again, lots of room to grow there. As you can see, had lots of room to grow here once we came above it and here. No reason we can't do that.
But not only that, look how sideways the indicators were while the market was still going up. Right?
Yeah.
So look at that. Look at that oscillator, the bottom oscillator. What is that?
The MACD, yeah.
Yeah. So that MACD is going sideways while the market's just taken off for a whole year.
Yeah. Let's quickly say hello to everyone in the comments. Obviously,
who's here?
Good to see you, Fast Abdul. Good to see you, man. He's hated PI can. Shout out to Moon Mutt. Broken Sarcasm. Shout out to Hex Glenn. Good to see you. We're going to cover some Hex today. And Believe in Yourself. Hello, Brightlight, Vinluck, Fat Sammy, Fast, Hex Glenn. Yeah, good to see you, man. So obviously, USDT dominance. We obviously want to see this chart go down. That means that assets are going to go up because less people are holding stable coins. And that means obviously more people are transferring their stable coins into Bitcoin, into Ethereum, into the tokens we like. So looks like let's have a look here for the last 3 weeks. Yep, we're continuing down. So we had a local high, continuing down, right on the heart line here of this downward channel.
Yeah, we're about there too. So look at the time frame between, and you got an inverted head and shoulders that it looks like it's going to be, but it's going to break. It's not going to happen. So the shoulder to the left of the summertime or the beginning of the year, right? No.
So the head here, is that what you're saying?
There's the head, yeah. Left shoulder, you got one to the left, and now it's making the right shoulder, yeah. So we're going to fail here, right? It looks like it could just completely go up and everything, right? Like if we were really bullish on it, we would say, okay, that would be right. We would be going we'd be going up from here. It's not gonna. It's just gonna completely fail. That's gonna be a double top.
Could kind of put like a bigger descending triangle too.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
From way back at the previous peaks, you can kind of put a line at that resistance and go with that.
Are you talking about something like this?
Yeah, and the previous.
Oh no, sorry. You're talking about descending triangle, like.
No, like.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Before it blew off, but
more locally, yes. Sorry, more locally,
like near the bottoms, but
around here,
kind of with that previous resistance or previous support. It can be either or.
One of the bottoms from the beginning of the year.
Beginning of the year, we're going to start 2025
last
here.
Year.
Last year.
That would be like.
Yeah, right there, left a little bit more.
Like that,
yeah, even that one.
Even that one, yeah. You can go through there because you can have some wicks down below it and stuff like that, and it can be even a bigger one. But yeah.
So
you have got a lot. Yeah, you've got a support there. So it's interesting.
I just see I think what's really important is we're looking at a double top here over the last few months, and this double top is going to break, right? And then we're going to see it go down to the lows. Where are the lows from the last low? Where are we going to? Where is the last major cycle and dominance low? Right, 40s.
The weekly chart, so I'd say around there. November 21. Something like that.
Right. And that's you're in tether dominance, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we got a nice visual down, right? At least we're going to go to the bottom of this channel, right? Keep going down to the bottom of this channel.
Right. So now let's look at the Dixie. Let's look at the DXY.
So just for everyone who doesn't know, the Dixie is the dollar index. Shows strength in the dollar. Obviously,
now we've been calling this for months.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to break too.
Yeah, it does. Look at that.
Major double top. Another major double top. Trends are your friends until they break.
I mean, look at that bullish hammer, though. They've tried hard in that bullish hammer. See, this bullish hammer, for me, is the market inflation. So what do we see? Whenever we get these interest rates lower, obviously it's bullish for crypto, but we always see the market operators manipulate the market and go the opposite way, because everyone goes long, right, on crypto as soon as, because they're anticipating these lowering of interest rates, and the market operator loves to go the opposite, tease you out, make you suffer for a few weeks, wash out those leverage longs, and then they'll dump it. And I think that's what we're seeing here. This is market manipulation right here.
Hit the monthly, go to the monthly on it. We do this every week. Go to the monthly on it, right? So we have a real inflection point in that move from 10 years ago when it went, right there to the left, right? See that little flip, right, from up to the right a little bit, and it took off right there. So that's our spot. If we get I'm going to say it's a white swan, okay? If we get a white swan situation that's going to, some people will say it's a black swan. I'll say it's a white swan, because if the dollar is going to just get hammered and you get a decoupling of the petrodollar and something happens to the dollar like that, the rest of the market's going higher, right? Which is all good for us. So that is the white swan component that I'm talking about. So these are the targets that we're looking for, right? Where you have that line now in the, what is that, 890?
That's 92. That's a 92. We're currently at
91, right?
Yeah.
But if we get a real event happens, a complete change in the financial system, XRP implementation, something like that, we're going to get a move down to that entire 5 years of Dixie back and forth and consolidation flag that was created during that time frame. That's where we're going to head. And
it looks like we're testing previous support right now. It looks like
it's going to catch support in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So
we can't do the same thing as when we do a breakout, right? So obviously we've bounced off 1, 2, 3 there, 4, and now we're retesting for support / rejection. Looks like it's getting rejected, right? I mean, look at that beautiful this week or this month. Look, a beautiful test off the top of it, rejected.
It's waiting to jump off a cliff.
Yeah.
It's already breaking the trend right now. It takes time to do it. It's the dollar. It's one of the most powerful, most liquid commodities on money on the planet, right? If not the, right? So there's a big effort right now from the BRICS nations to slowly decouple it. If it happens fast, I don't know, but they've been working at it for a long time. It makes sense it'll take a long time to happen. But when you see this trend breaking, you can tell something's going on. Then look at the news and you see what's happening, what China's doing, what they're doing. They're creating their own gold back. Look what Russia, everything that they're doing together. So you're going to see how this is going to unwind.
So this is all good for
happen slowly. Definitely going to have to happen slowly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, fears and everything, the world goes haywire real soon, real quick, and too many wars break out and whatnot. So they don't want to do that.
So here's the thing, right? With war. So with war, you get this massive correction moment because there is a flight to safety in the US dollar.
Or gold.
Okay? The issue is because of the decoupling of the dollar, because of crypto, and how is the resetting of the fiat and now the stable coins that are going to be connected to each other, right? How is that going to affect the markets, right? What's it going to actually do when you get a war going? Because let me tell you something. Next March, next April, when the winter thaws, it's coming. And And if there's a flight to safety in the US dollar, we might get a major market crash. But then you're going to see liquidity, M2, you're going to see, quantitative easing, you're going to see the economics kick in. And we've got every war has had a flight to safety in one way or another. The major currencies or the major index components that lead the charge in the indexes, and everything's going to consolidate to the top. And that's when you're going to see the indexes just take off, right? And Russell 2000 won't do what, it's not altcoin season anymore. So you got to be really super careful, and it's going to be very volatile.
Let's have a look at Bitcoin dominance, because obviously this is a big one which we're looking at on the weekly. So a few weeks ago, obviously last time we were here, we're kind of still going sideways right now. Obviously, Ethereum's not moved. Ethereum's been consolidating, so we're kind of just still going sideways here. Nothing's really changed. Everyone's getting frustrated, but if we just look at Bitcoin, I mean, we've been going sideways right now for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2 months, right? Ethereum, we've been going sideways for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, right? So last time Ethereum consolidated for 8 weeks. We're on week 6 now. Bitcoin again consolidating. So it's no surprise that we've seen Bitcoin dominance kind of stagnate for a bit. We expect that, right? But this is a bear flag. So there's only one way we're going on this one. What do you guys think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's going down.
I feel like
Bitcoin's in the game, especially with Tom Lee and them accumulating more ETH. That's going to make the Bitcoin dominance just go down, let alone just buying ETH with those guys. And then the Ether machine guys need to buy more and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's definitely going down. And even if Bitcoin stays sideways or goes
on that
up.
point, man, on that point, when we've seen the let's go to the daily here on Ethereum, when we've seen this big nasty red candle a few days ago, Tom Lee's been buying. And when's the last time Tom Lee was buying? It was here at 4,100. Here. Tom Lee was buying heavy here.
Right.
Tom Lee is buying heavy again there. So obviously Tom Lee from Fundstrat wouldn't be buying if he thinks we're going to have a retest down here, which is interesting. Not saying that's what's going to happen, but they wouldn't be buying so heavy. And you've got ETHZilla as well. There's rumors that Bitminer are going to try and buy out ETHZilla, which is interesting.
Ether Machine's just waiting on an S4 to go through for the SEC just to give them the green light to just start buying. So it's like That's pretty much what we're waiting on is a couple S4s or approvals, and it's off to the races. And
it's all coming in the fourth quarter. It's gonna be a wicked.
Oh yeah.
Let's have a quick look at ETH BTC.
It's gonna get insane, yeah.
Quick look at ETH BTC. So we called this breakout. There. We called this breakout a few days ago. About a week ago. It was a breakout. Nothing really happened. Nothing really was achieved from it. But it looks like we're coming down to retest. Let's have a look on the weekly of the ETH.
But a base was built there. It looks like there's support that was built there.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, a nice support there. You've got a lot of resistance here, right? A lot of local support there.
The next move up, when we break out of that big candle from last week, then it pulled back. It's gone. Takes off to the top of the channel.
Yeah. Total market cap. Let's have a quick look at total market cap. On a nice steady uprise after that local high. We're just right. Think of this as a triangle, right? This is pretty much a triangle right here we're in right now. We need to make a decision soon. But, I mean, what do you think, guys? Do you think suddenly money's going to start flowing out of crypto? Do you think we're going to break this to the downside? I don't think so. I think what's going to happen is people are going to get really bored. We're going to go sideways, and then we're going to break up.
Yeah, we got to watch and see. It's geopolitics. We got to watch the dollar.
Yeah.
I think they're letting things calm down after the assassination attempt and things like that. They're just like, let things calm down before they start doing anything too nuts. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's kind of what I would do if I would sit in the background, let emotions calm down, and then make my move after you bored everybody out, and let the market move up then, and then go, oh, everything's exciting again. You know what I mean? Kind of make everybody.
Well, this is Bitcoin right now, right? I'm seeing loads of. Let me close some of this. I'm seeing loads of people kind of talking about, oh, Bitcoin's going to go down. So there's a few scenarios, right? So obviously we've got this head and shoulders pattern we're kind of creating here. We got the shoulder here, the head here, and it looks like we might try and come down and create this other shoulder, right?
Well, look at the 30-minute that I showed you earlier.
30-minute. Oh, you did show me a 30-minute. Yeah, I haven't looked at this one in ages.
30 minutes is an entry point time frame. Are you on the futures? Did I send you futures?
Oh, you sent me CME. Yeah. How do I get CME?
Right. So okay. So here the future. This is good that you did that. It's excellent. It's one. It's BTC one. But if you just look, I'll show you where the futures stopped and where it closed at, and we've done nothing since. Just go back to the spot. Right on that big bottom move right there, the big cone that stopped. Right from 2 days ago, literally. Right.
Yep.
Left, right there, right? That's Friday. That's when the futures ended, right there. We've gone nowhere since then. So, I mean, this is either we're going to 100,000 or, like the volatility is going to kick in next week. Something's coming. So it's not just going to sit flat.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the volume's just gone off a cliff right now. So something's going to happen on Monday. But I mean, do you know what I mean? Structurally, it won't be a bad thing if we come down and touch 114, 113. Won't be a bad thing. Sure, it's going to wash out some over leveraged players, but it's not a bad thing, right?
Look where there's thin trading. You want to look where there's thin trading. So go left.
Let's go to the. I've got
the
liquidation map here. So there's a lot of liquid sitting here at 114. A lot of people will get liquidated here at 114. We got liquidations to both sides, but a lot of money sitting below at 114520. But it's hard to predict, man. It's pretty much even Stevens here. I think the Bulls and the Bears are. That's why the chart is going so. But I think what we're saying is there's a big move coming next week for sure.
Go back to the spot price real quick. Let me show you where the thin trading is, and I think it's going to go. So go left. Put your mouse left, more, right there. Down, right in there. This area, right in. No, up, higher, a little bit, right there. In right here. No, down more, down here. Yes, right in, left, a little bit, right inside there. You see how there's like no trading in there? To the right, right in there. Yeah. That's where it's going to go, right in that spot right there.
Yeah, 113. That's a key inflection point there, yeah. Around this area.
Right.
It does have
liquidate everything. Something will happen, and then we'll correct down, take off from there. Get some news. Something will go on.
Yeah, I mean, they might go grab the liquidity below, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at ETH quickly. I mean, ETH is kind of similar situation.
Massive W formation coming. Massive. Look at that, what you just showed. What was that you just showed?
Oh, that's 30-minute, man. Oh, that was the 30-minute. I'm sure.
Put that back. Look at this. Look at that symmetry. Okay, make it higher. So we can get that's either going to be a descending triangle, but I mean, we can get the other side of that, right? Same time frame on both shoulders and then you get your middle move there, and we can see it go up. So again, gotta watch the dollar.
Right, yeah. Obviously, AVAX was a big mover this week. If we go to the weekly, AVAX had a massive move because I think the South Koreans accepted it as a stable coin platform.
Mm-hmm.
So they moved up around 10% in one day there. Look at that move. 45% in a matter of 2 weeks. I mean, they are in this huge upward channel here. They're right off the bottom of it. So I expect them to make a move that ETH did. They've been heavily oversold on AVAX.
Yeah, that'll make a good all-coin season run.
Yeah. Should we jump over to PulseChain, yeah? PulseChain.
So there's a lot of anguish around PulseChain, to say the least, and Hex.
Yeah, people are exhausted. People are frustrated now at this point. They're getting tired.
A lot of OGs complaining a lot and like, come on, let's do something. kind of thing.
Well,
Yeah.
you can tell why,
You know
right?
what?
Because everyone was expecting this to be the breakout point, right? Because we kind of finally came up and tested this downward trend, trying to create a dragon pattern here. And, we did kind of say it might do this. It might want to come back into this kind of triangle around here,
2
consolidate
weeks
more.
ago, we said it was coming back down.
Yeah, we said it was going to do something like this, maybe. Something like this.
And
But-
sit flat, not go anywhere.
But
Needs to
it's
hold
crunch
a higher
time, man.
high for
Yeah,
couple-
exactly. Here's a higher
Yeah.
high. That's true. We got bottom here. We got a confirmation of the bottom with slightly higher. Now we got a higher low. If we can confirm this, that's going to be super bullish. If we can bounce off this area. But again, if Bitcoin decides to dump down further, can we hold? Or are we going lower? But, we could even afford to even come down here if we have to, still make a higher low, right?
It looks like it's gonna too.
It does.
I mean, that's an ugly. That's another.
Look at
that's
that.
an ugly
Look at that engulfing candle
candle right there.
Yeah, we got an engulfing candle here. Bearish engulfing candle.
And the
But I mean,
volumes are kind of low lately.
Yeah.
But there might be a PulseChain little alt PulseChain run happening if PulseChain starts selling off and people selling their PulseChain into whatever other tokens they're buying in the PulseChain ecosystem. That's possible, but I don't know. We might just see this inverted megaphone happen here, and we'll get it's until the real alt season starts. I think PulseChain is just going to start to make some basing formations, right? It needs some time.
For me, PulseChain, I've still got
Definitely
most of
need
my
a
money.
higher.
I mean, for me, I've still got most of my money outside chain. Obviously, I've got a large stack in PulseChain, and I'm farming over there, so I'm accumulating. Every time I make a trade, I'm putting money over there. But I'm not expecting PulseChain to do anything at the moment. I'm kind of waiting for ETH to top out. I think Richard's going to time. I think when you start to see small caps explode, that's when Richard's going to start to make a move here. I don't think he's going to front run it. He's a smart man. He's not going to waste his money.
Yeah, we're gonna see ETH run when ETH kind of tops. We'll see that rotation, and the main rotation will be to PulseChain.
Richard always said you could sell on a double. So look at the average price of the treasury that it's been bought into ETH, double it, and that's probably when we're going to start seeing PulseChain move.
A lot of wicks on the 1 hour down here on PLS. Seems like someone's defending it. Let's have a look at the 1 hour. We barely do this in this show, but it's interesting to do it. So he's saying a lot of wicks down. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of wicks down there on the 1 hour, but I mean, I wouldn't put too much heat in the 1 hour.
Well, what he's saying is when it gets down there, someone's buying.
That is good.
Right?
That is good, though. Yeah, that is good.
Someone's buying. So it is good to see those wicks like that. I'd like to see a bunch of wicks because you've got defense happening. You got some body armor there. We're going to see some volatile sideways movement, until we can get a real fourth quarter, crypto run. And it's not to say that PulseChain ecosystem is not going to run when Ethereum really starts running and you see Bitcoin going to 180. It's going to. It just isn't making the parabolic, insane move that we're all looking for.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I think obviously these things are going out. We're seeing a lot of people now tweet about PulseChain outside of PulseChain. Have you guys seen that guy that got sent the screen thing, the little tablet?
The LCD tablet.
And,
there's a chart on it now. There's a chart on it. Someone's selling it for $1,000 now or something.
Yeah, it did 1,000x or something like that.
Yeah. It's classic, man. It's classic. That's great.
I was like, even if you're buying it from yourself, it's still great marketing.
That's great marketing. That's great.
Obviously, Hex. It's a shame. Hex took a bit of a dive. When I saw it at $1, I thought we were going to kind of keep going up. But it looks like it's just following. But Hex is basically following Pulse right now, right? It's not doing anything else. But again,
let's
a
talk
little bit more bouncy than Pulse.
Let's talk about Richard's spicy tweet that we hadn't had a chance to talk about. I think.
Oh yeah, let me find that. Let me find that.
We didn't stream last week. So, Rich, he's got this like you know, he did it before where he talks about it. First, you put out a spicy tweet, right? And then it just, you know, get everyone to freak out, whatever. And then, you know, come in. He put out the most amazing spicy tweet when he talked about, will they call it a scam again when it does a 10x, a 10,000x. And the ironic move is 10,000x off the bottom is $36.90, 369. So the numbers are playing out, man. I mean, you know, there's a strong argument to say that it shouldn't be down here because everyone pegged it to Ethereum or paired it with Ethereum. When he said, why don't you pair it with USDC instead of Ethereum because we're going to do a bear market. So it's all going to, you know, it's going to go down heavy, you know, stick it with a stable coin. Don't touch Ethereum, right? No one did. The big guys, they all fucking paired it with Ethereum. And you see it just completely just get wrecked with the rest of the market. And you had such suppression in the markets because of sovereign adoption and the, you know, Wall Street adoption, keeping everything down, keeping everything low, not wanting it to go anywhere. It really got affected. Hex really did get affected. I think I would argue to say more than anyone really thought, right? So now we'll see if we can get, you know, Big Daddy to pump the bags and get that 10,000x like he said. And if everyone calls it a scam again, maybe there's a movement at the top of the next year market, maybe a year from now, because it was 3 years ago when Hex topped out, September. So maybe next September, when we get that run and we get another, because I think Bitcoin's going to top in March and April next year when the war starts. And then we're going to get altcoins to just tear. And again, Hex might do the same thing that it did in its last top cycle. The question is from there, is there going to be this effort to change the liquidity from, you know, Ethereum into USDC, into stable coins? And I've always said Hex is made to be a bond, right? Hex is actually meant to be a bond, if you think about it, over the long term. Because when it's meant to go to 100, stay there. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'm just out of my mind, but it kind of makes sense.
Hex is definitely like the bond market of crypto.
You know, I mean, even bonds. You know, my background is in bank debt consulting, and I used to do a lot of work in that, and a lot of this coupons and debt issuance and yield and stuff. And the big pension funds would go after yield, and they gotta, you know, it's complicated. But when you know, you're looking at Hex, and he's got this ladder. Now you got this whole entire staking ladder. He took all the Hex and he just freaking staked it all. Now there's no yield anymore. The issue is, okay, it's not really a junk bond. It's a cheap bond. You're going to actually get what happens in the paper market, Western European bank debt, 10-year notes. What happens is they cut this debt at like 40 cents on the dollar, okay? And then there's no real yield on it yet. Right. And what happens is they'll step it up. They'll step on it. Other institutions will buy it. 10 points. And this is what I did for years. And I just was a consultant on. I couldn't get into it. I got approved once. They blacklisted me out of the system because I wasn't already in the game. But I got that close. So eventually what happens is you'll get that yield will get bigger and bigger. So when you get up to that, and they'll start paying that coupon. So what happens is now I think Hex is going to ultimately one day, when those staking ladders come to fruition, right? Come to the maturity, and you'll wind up seeing that yield come back, and that will bring in additional buying power to sustain the higher bond levels back to par, and I call par 100, right? So it's interesting to think of the long-term macroeconomics of what can happen to Hex when you think of it as a bond.
So it's interesting. We saw an interesting post just before we were on the stream. We're still seeing strong Hex staking activity in August. So stakes on Ethereum remain steady at 600 new stakes, while PulseChain saw a slight drop from July but stayed high in April. So you're still getting people long-term stake with Hex. Total principal staked was 6.6 billion Hex in August. Notably, Ethereum stake principled increased to 2.4 billion from 2 billion. So average stake length remains high at 1.4 thousand days on Ethereum and 1.1 thousand on PulseChain, trending slightly upward over the past year. Average staking principal is high and stable on PulseChain, while Ethereum, it declined but still averages 4.2 million principal staked compared to 1.6 on PulseChain. So you still are seeing long-term holders there.
It's healthy.
Yeah.
That's healthy activity. It's not, if that was going away, then you would be worried about what's going to happen with it.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's a healthy, because that's the main component of what Hex is supposed to be. Forget about the fact that the yield's not there anymore. There's a positive externality. There's a reason why the yield's not there anymore. People say, oh, Hex is dead. It was all supposed to be for yield, this and that. No, that's just a positive externality of what Hex is, right? Based on the inflation of 369. So we're really looking at a very healthy market still in Hex. And I think a major move is going to come.
I just quickly want to talk about, I know I've got some Pulse Bitcoin viewers here. We've got some great news of Pulse Bitcoin on Ethereum. So obviously after we made that 28x since April, we've been in this bull flag. So for the past 6 weeks, we've been in this bull flag going down. And the past few weeks, we just broke out of it. And we're now a nice 200% up since 4th of August. Looks like we're going to try and make our way up to 19 cents. So loads of buy pressure came in.
Handle sideways move.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It looks like there might be a cup and handle form here, right?
From there. Yup.
Yeah.
Nice sideways, maybe even a little down, little pressure on the handle. Yeah. And then we just kind of.
Yeah. And obviously ASIC token's been looking great. ASIC token's the one you mine. ASIC token is the one you mine Pulse Bitcoin with. That's been looking pretty good. That's obviously, we reduced liquidity there to allow it to pump, but we're making nice, consistent, higher highs here. I can see this one run to take out previous. I think this was going to 30 cents. It's currently at 15 cents. But that's looking really cool. Wanted to cover that one quickly for all the Pulse Bitcoiners out there. Also, obviously, we've taken a little trade. I think we should share that one. We took a trade on this altcoin, didn't we? Recently together, MV. So we took a trade out. We kept this one public. So I remember you introduced me to this. This is a small micro cap on PulseChain, 300k liquidity, so 300k market cap. So this is a token where people use it to mint other tokens through the Atropa system.
It's Ethereum of the Atropa Treasury ecosystem and Treasury system.net.
And I remember you told me about this one, and I managed to make a lovely trade. I bought it down here, and I sold it. I made a lovely move here. I think I put in like
it was earlier.
I think I put in it was earlier, yeah. But I did it a couple of times.
No. I mean earlier from today.
Yeah, I mean I made a few $1,000 trading this one.
In the ABC triangle.
I came back in on the ice line here. I made another trade, sold around there.
So this is interesting because. Remember,
he's doing it again, right? He's doing it again.
You can still mint it, right? Okay, I understand that, right? Because if you burn the whole thing, nothing's going to be left because it freaking burns big time. It went in 4 months. It went from 250 million down to 80 million total supply. That's a serious.
Yeah. So Frank White was the first. We shared our trade on X on this one, and Frank White is correct. Frank White, shout out to Frank White. We believe this can be minted. It's kind of like the PDI thing, but I mean. Look, dude, we made some money on this one. We're going to have another go.
Well, no shit.
I know. I'm no fan of PDI. I'm no fan of any of that shit. But when I see a chart like this, an Iceland respected, I'm going to trade it.
What just happened to MV? It went from 80 million supply to where? What it says now, 250 something million supply, right? What happened to the market?
He's saying, Frank mints it. Frank mints it himself. Well,
right.
Don't mint too much.
Burn it and go mint it and burn it not. But where did it go when the supply went from 80 million to 200? Didn't go. It was a huge buy spike that came in, right? So it's gone up since then. It didn't just get crushed.
No.
Right. I'm telling you, this thing is used for the entire treasury system. You need it to operate the Treasury System.win ecosystem, which is the Atropa system. And if you just go to that long-term chart, you're going to see when we break out, we're going to get discovery, and it's going to go, I think all of them, Atropa, whether, the whole thought around PDI and all this nonsense, I fucking made and lost a ton of money in that. I was sick of it. it's all going to take off. The entire system will just completely take off.
Well, talking of some current news, obviously, I remember everyone was going on about this TFC thing. Well, I thought I'd check in on that, and look at that. Wow. The chart that kept going up, and everyone was asking, will it keep going up? Well, yeah, it's finally had its sell-off. And obviously, we also had the Rome. Have you guys seen this Rome thing everyone was going on about?
Yeah, I just heard about that one.
So this is the first Web3 kind of. Was it? Do you want to explain what it is, Bright Light?
Looks like a rug to me.
Well, yeah. So it was a big thing, right? I had a lot of my friends shilling it. I kind of was a bit cautious about it. I didn't get involved, luckily. But it was the first Roman gladiatorial play to earn game. So it's kind of like a Web3 browser game, right? And a load of people in on it. And they released a tweet today. I saw it this morning when I woke up saying, I've been hacked. All the liquidity's been rugged. So first thing I said in the EMIC council was, what a load of bullshit. What a load of bullshit. You're saying someone's found an obscure PLP token in a random chain, hacked into your wallet, and rugged the whole thing. Well, first of all, why was your wallet not secure? If you've got hundreds of thousands of dollars in liquidity, come on, dude. Don't pull my leg. You know, you've obviously taken your profits.
How many people were playing that game? How many?
I don't know, but I think it was quite big at one point. I think the market cap was quite big. You know,
no, but how many people were playing the game?
I don't know. If anyone in the comments knows, let us know. But this is
game was launched for the game at the same time, and there's 5 players.
Like, no. They had quite a lot of people participating in this. They were kind of one of the. I mean, I don't know, but I saw a lot of my friends shilling it. Not their fault, obviously. I don't blame them, but I'm just saying, you really got to be careful when you get involved with these days. And any of these tokens that pump like this, just be aware that you're in the first test. You're like the test rat. You know, you are the. I mean, even this DevC stuff, like all this stuff, it's super popular. It's everyone's going on about it, but you've got to be careful with this stuff. Like, who are the people that launched it? And if they're people that you trust, people you know personally, or they're friends of friends, you can go, okay, there's some trust there. But just a lot of these tokens, you know, they're all over PulseChain. Everyone's talking about them. Everyone's shilling them, and then you see it time and time again, and they're dead the next day, right? So just be careful with this sort of stuff, guys. Like, if you want to trade it and be a degen, fine, trade it. Like, all these tokens run up, but just do your homework and be careful. That's all I'd say, right? Or experiment with small money, you know. All right, welcome back.
Rome game still works or something like that, but
it still works, yeah. But all their LP got rugged.
Yeah.
So it's like, will they recover from this? I don't know. I just think, as a founder, right? Imagine I launched a coin, right, after being on PulseChain and building up my reputation for 4 years, and I suddenly launch a coin, and I go, sorry guys, my wallet got hacked. All your money's gone. Well, first of all, you go, hold on a minute, dude. Why is it not secured by wallets, hardware wallets?
That's a good reason why, like, you should burn a liquidity. Like, sometimes people burn liquidity pools, although, like, not all of it. You don't burn all of it. You just burn a portion of it, so that at least it's not going to, like, be gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least it can't get hacked that way.
Yeah, exactly. And I just don't tolerate this kind of rubbish when people say, "Oh, I've hacked." Well, I'm sorry. You may as well robbed it yourself. Whether someone else robbed it, it's your priority as a founder to protect people's investment there.
Horse shit. Move on.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about something that's not horse shit. Some of the Vox guys are in it today. They've launched Hexamo, so I said I would talk about it. So Hexamo, they've got these farms here, which basically, so self-sustaining, high yield, hyper-deflationary ecosystem. And basically what you do is you buy Hexamo, you pair it with most, DAI, Inc, Pulse, Hex, PulseX, whatever you like, whatever you've got in your bag. And at the moment, you're earning insane APR. So I think I had like 400 Hexamo. I paired it with Pulse, and I was making around, well, the last few days I've been making around $150 a day. I've been putting that back into the farm, and then I'm keeping some of my Hexamo liquid, and I'm being paid Hex. each day. So that's a really nice one. So it's outperforming the Chi share by about 8 times. So it's a really good way to earn hex. DeFi Nation earned around 10,000 hex from about $1,000 investment just in the last 5 days. So take a look at that one, guys. I think it's a good one. Obviously, they've got the Vox farms and all these things. They all burn Vox, the main token. So I know you're interested in getting to this one, Vin. You're a nice little community. But, I mean, look at these TVLs. They're quite low still, you know? So I think this is the sort of one where
I gotta tell you, I like Vox and I like the dev. I think he's doing the right thing, and I think he's above board, and I think that's a big part of it. And he knows what he's doing. So it looks like with this Hexano thing, again, please no one buy it. Don't do anything. Go away.
And then also they've got single-sided staking as well, so you can literally single-side stake your ink here for 40% a year. You can also single-side stake your what else can you can single-side stake your where was it? You single-side stake your PLSX for 24% a year. So there's no risk. It's amazing.
Well, there's no impermanent loss risk, right?
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
It's pretty good if you're looking at comparing it to PulseX itself in the V2 or whatever. Exactly, that's a really solid single staked yield.
And one more shield before we go to the news. For the
definitely been keeping my eye on Vox. I haven't got in yet or nothing, but I've been watching it. So
yeah, it's worth it, man. I mean, So just for anyone who's not sure, what it is basically farming. What you do is, let's say you buy some Vox. What you want to do is you want to go to PulseX V2, find the farm you like. Let's say you're doing Vox and PLS, this one here. Grab maybe $200 of PLS, $200 of Vox. You provide V2 liquidity via PulseX. Then you go over to this farm here and you load in your tokens. And then you're going to earn your reward daily, in this situation in Vox. And then you can either use them to dump and buy whatever you want, or you can just keep compounding. So that's kind of the idea of farming. Obviously, it's kind of, we've got emit.farm, which is a popular farm. But farming is a really underused resource. Oh, there are emit.farm. Yeah, emit's doing amazing, by the way, as well, holding its value. I quickly want to show this. Emit is amazing right now. I'm actually going to put more money into this soon. They've actually got the single side staking for their emit token. So let's just say you got 10 grand sitting there. You can earn 124% just from single side your emit. And the
chart's holding up pretty nice.
Yeah, it is. I'll quickly show that one actually. The emit farm. Let's go to LP tokens. Look at this chart. Look at that beautiful sideways action. And you're farming that, right? So that's what you want to see on a farm.
Yeah, that's a solid base right there.
Yeah. So, and one more shield quickly before we move on. One of the Pulse Bitcoin guys has created a new front end, a new website for the calm.fun, it's called. So you've got the Hex Community Staker there. That's live. You've got the Pulse Bitcoin lock sheet. So anyone that has Pulse Bitcoin locked, there's currently 29% of the supply locked for an average of 7 years. So you can view all of your locks on this website. So go check that out. Loads of stuff there. So go and have a look at that one. I thought I'd give him a shout out. He spent a lot of time building this one. So yeah, I thought I'd give him a shout out to him. Shout out to you. I'm trying to think of his name. Gift It. Yeah, thanks, Gift It, for mentioning this. Obviously, if you run into any errors, please let him know. He's still working on it. He's got lots more stuff coming for this one. Even some new tokens coming that will buy and burn all of the Pulse Bitcoin stuff. So go check that out. That's calm.fun. Do you guys want to jump into the news, or is there anything else you want to mention in PulseChain you want to look at?
I'm good. Let's go.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah, so do you guys have comic relief in the US, or is that something just in the UK?
We used to. I mean, I remember it a long time ago.
So comic relief is like one of those things where like you get all these celebrities, they do all these kind of, you get a load of shows that maybe aren't shown for ages. Everyone do their bits and their skits, and all these celebrities will roll out the red carpet for them. But it's just been shown that the comic relief funds have been funding illegal migrants in the UK.
Not surprised.
So so obviously now that they've received $400,000 and it's going into supporting all this stuff. So obviously all the people now who are against the globalists are really outraged with this, and they're pushing back against it. Defund comic relief.
Listen, all entertainment is owned by the evil fuckers at the top.
Yeah.
Right? It just is. I don't say all. Almost all of the entertainment is owned by the evil at the top. And this is what they're doing. They're using it. CIA's using it. USAID, you name it. It's insane. Expect it all the time. It's got to be shut down.
Oh, sorry. Just before we move on, I wanted to obviously Broken Sarcasm was talking about Vox. I want to quickly answer his question. He says, I don't want to kill the Hexamo. Yeah, so he was saying, I read on Vox to keep one PLP token in your wallet. No, that's incorrect. You don't want to hold the PLP token in your wallet.
Hexamo.
Yeah, so you got Vox, you've got Hype, you've got Increase, and Hexamo. You don't want to hold any of those PLP tokens in your wallet. You want to use the PLP token to go into the farm. If you want to get reflections, you hold the actual tokens in your wallet. So
yeah, I think what he's talking about was what Nova was saying. You just hold at least one Hexamo in your wallet, and then it'll all.
Yeah. Don't hold the PLP token. Hold the actual Hexamo.
Farm the PLP.
Yeah. Just wanted to make that clear before we move on. And congratulations, you got into PSB. So you're saying the bridge version. Just to make it clear for you, like Hex and PHEX, Pulse Bitcoin was forked when the PulseChain went live. So you've got the forked version, Pulse Bitcoin, but there's also the wrapped version from Ethereum on the PulseChain side. You know the difference because one's at 7.5 cents, the other one's at 1.2 cents. That's the difference. Obviously, we're getting huge turnouts now on these nationalist rallies now all over the place. These anti-globalist rallies now. Australia's kind of kicking off a lot. We're seeing a lot of that.
The whole world's kicking off right now.
Oh, world's kicking off. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
I love to see the New Zealanders, man. When you get those indigenous New Zealand guys just going out with the haka dance and just kicking ass, and I just love to see that. We need to see more of that around the world.
Does anyone know what he's talking about? Ephesians 6:12, is that a Bible quote?
Yeah, it's
quote
out of the Bible. I don't know which one, but
if someone can pull that up in the background, that'd be cool. What else we got? Oh yeah, so this was in Armor
of God.
Gotcha.
I talk about this all the time. Apostle Paul's.
So what's all that? Do you want to tell us about that quickly?
It's about the armor of God, verses 10 through 18, emphasizing the Christian's true battle is spiritual, not merely physical or interpersonal. It's a discussion of spiritual warfare. Basically, it's reminding the believers to focus on the unseen forces and the human opponents, and realizing that, in different translations or texts, everything can be, completely, like understood from different perspectives. The armor of God is a very, very powerful metaphor from the Apostle Paul. And, it's not, I put posts up on X and I talk about the armor of God all the time. And I've got, images of actual armor and Templars and knights and stuff like that. Because that's where my mind is. And I do think
this is very relevant to the project you're building, right?
Right. It does. And, we've got, I think we're in a time now where we all have to wear the armor of God. We really, really do. And I think that even when we're talking about the AI Antichrist that we're fighting, the Knights of the Sacred Code is going to be following, making sure that we understand the sacred code in the Bible. There's a very big correlation of the sacred code that's happening in artificial intelligence right now. And we've got to protect humanity for what is going on. There's major forces that are happening right now, and we've got to make. There has to be movements. There has to be movements everywhere. You can join the Knights Templar International, which is non Masonic. Okay, very important to understand that. It's the only non-Masonic temple organization in the world. Or, you know, if you're a super nationalist and you're Christian, you know, there's a Christian national movement as well. What we're doing, what I'm building, is something that's going to be interesting, where we're basically, you know, I'm forming a AI crusade, and this is going to be a situation where we're going to battle the evil AI component that's there. We're in the third inning. We get to the seventh inning stretch and it's not been done, we're in trouble. So it's been a lot. I'm doing a lot of coding. I spent a lot of money on coding right now, using AI to do the coding and to build it. I think I'm pretty close to done. So I've been doing a lot of other stuff too, including building an XRP tokenization platform, and some other stuff. So that'll be exciting, especially since XRP just got some tokenization news at DBS Singapore, and Franklin Templeton, I think it was, in Singapore. I've been in the DBS institutional desk on the 40th floor. I think, Sammy, I sent you those pictures of me up there. That's a really good bank to do this at, because it's probably one of the strongest banks in Singapore. And I think we're going to see a massive inflow into the XRP ledger, into the whole XRP ecosystem. Remember to talk about that for a second. The evaluation of XRP really has to do with the value of assets on the ledger itself, right? So it's not just like Metcalfe's law, right? Number of units squared, number of users squared. It's what's being tokenized on it, right? If I got $1 billion treasury bill is being tokenized on XRP, on the XRP ledger, you can arguably say there's $1 billion of market cap value that could be added to XRP itself. So it hasn't even begun yet, right? And this is going to be something that is really going to be done on a very high level. You're not going to have the average small mom and pop kind of situation, or the average person that wants to tokenize their little real estate portfolio. It's going to be very expensive for them to do that. What I'm actually making now is an XRP tokenization platform that could be done by anybody for like 10 grand, for like 10 to 20 grand. And they can basically create their own token for their own assets. And they can add liquidity to it. They can do all that. So what AI has been doing is phenomenal, but we've got to battle the evil that's coming from that. And I think like it's starting to get more evil. It's starting to really get, come to light. There's a lot of, white hat forces that I think we're going to see soon, that are going to try to fight that battle. And part of that is actually, that's why I talk about XRP and that at the same time, is XRP dismantling the old money system, because the old money system has been encapsulating our lives, been capturing our lives. But again, you got to be very careful, because Sammy, you're in a place now, and we talked about this with Vietnam, where these digital IDs and how they're going to do it and what they're going to tie in. It's a very, very dangerous situation. Yeah.
I've actually got some notes on this one. So recently in the UK, it's been leaked that Keir Starmer and Tony Blair are pushing the digital ID, and they're going to announce this at their Labour conference. These are the people
but it's good for you. It's going to make your life so much better.
Yeah, it's no good for you. I mean, obviously, in blockchain, we're very open-minded to digital developments, right? But there's a good way of doing things and a bad way of doing things. And Richard Hart speaks a lot about this, right? There's a good way of digitalizing, and then there's a bad way, a centralization way of digitalizing. And I think it will come to the US. I think the US are already kind of trying to roll it out with the One ID, they call it, or something. So this person says so obviously digital ID is a slave system. That's the problem, right? So it's gonna be sold to you for convenience, but really these are the downsides. So you get data breaches, identity theft, fraud, government overreach, political restriction, privacy violation, freedom loss, resource diversification, trust erosion, social inequality, corporate power, surveillance state, human rights abuses, social credit system, which we've seen in China, totalitarian state, and a cashless society.
I heard they were trying to put the digital ID on the blockchain, so it's like somebody can just hack your ID and just steal it.
Yeah.
It's like, so why would you even want to do that? I would want to keep it like Web 2 at least.
And
we don't even need digital IDs.
They're doing, I can't remember the name, the phrase they call it, but they create a problem, and then they offer a solution. I think it's a Hungarian dialect they call it, right?
Yes.
And so right now what they're doing in Europe is they're flooding Europe with immigrants. They're creating a very volatile situation. And now they're trying to say, oh, we're bringing this in to control the immigrants. Well, no, you're not, because those immigrants don't have ID.
You're not. You
What
brought
are
the
you
immigrants
talking
in the
about?
first place.
All it is, so if you argue about it, you're going to basically have your bank account shut down. And
then they're going to shut
so it's
down
happened-
right.
So
your
Vietnam,
ability
talk
to
about
place your
Vietnam
bank.
on this front. So in Vietnam, they've started rolling this stuff out. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, so for those of you who know, I've lived in Vietnam for many, many years. My wife is from Vietnam, and this is a country where it's literally like to get married or to do anything, you got a piece of paper, you got to go to one office, you got to get an actual stamp, and you got to get it notarized in a different office, and you got to go to that office and get that stamp, and then 2 weeks later you got to go over there to that office, and you got to get a stamp, and then you got to give it to everybody, you got to give everyone a copy, and you got to get notarized copies, and then you got to wait a month, and you got to say, oh, well, it's not ready yet, and they're not ready yet, and they're not talking to each other, and it was just a complete disaster, even though Vietnam has been growing so much. Now what's been happening is everything is very quickly becoming digitalized, right? The government is getting involved. They got the first crypto exchange ran by the government. Okay, well, that's kind of a little off, but, okay. There's been an exchange there already that I've used, which is basically built by a Russian guy that, just it automatically works. And now transactions are all digital. So the IDs in a digital ID format, everything is, there's money that's created, your whole money system over there is created, attached to your digital ID. And so you can actually there was recently news that like 86 million accounts were basically deleted. But what that really was bad accounts that were dormant. They didn't delete accounts with people's money in it that were active. That's not what happened. Right. My wife's account when she came here to the States was deleted. We took the money out, and the phone number that's attached to the account, you have to have an active phone number on there after 3 months. If you don't use that SIM card, it deactivates automatically because it's like pay as you go SIM cards over there. Right. So you can get a contract, but it's mainly you put a little SIM card in, you pay it every month, and that's it. And it's all pay as you go. So if you don't have an active phone, they just delete the account. So that's been going on. It's not like all of a sudden one night 86 million accounts were deleted. This has been going on.
Sounds like an Obama phone.
What's that?
It sounds like an Obama phone. One of those state-led kind of things. Yeah.
Maybe, but it's everywhere, right? So whether it's
I remember the Obama phones,
or whatever it is, the way the SIM cards work, when you go into the airport and you land in Ho Chi Minh City, you can go right up to the kiosk and get a SIM card. Right. And if you just pay it, you can pay it anywhere. You can pay it online, you set it up and you pay it, or you can go into the store, you can go into Western Union, you can go into one of the Vitel stores or one of the other, Mobi phone stores, and you just pay the bill, or, you do it through text message and because you have an account somewhere, or, my wife in her local account would put my phone number in and pay it that way. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do. So they just deleted dormant accounts is what actually happened, which I understand why. And at the end of the day, it makes sense. But now and they're making it really easy for foreigners to get bank accounts. So there's this online, I forgot the name. There's this online account, online only. It's kind of like Chime Bank in America, where, it's just an online virtual account, right? It's connected to another real bank, but the whole front end of it is all virtual. It's all internet. And so even foreigners now, if you have your ID, you can go and you can create this account. The thing is now, and it's going to be easy for immigration, because before they didn't have any immigration issues. They had no real good visa issues, right? Like their visa issuance was a 3-month travel visa. You can extend it one time, then you got to go out and you got to come back in overnight. And I did that for years, and I've got my 5-year extension visa and all that. I still got to leave every 6 months to come back, but now what's happening? And you still got to go to the travel agency. You got to give them the thing. They got to send it in. The whole money. Now it's all digital. You hit a button, you pay it. It's done in like virtually instantly. So, and we own a lot of land over there. So what's been happening is now all of a sudden the transaction that we just recently did we just sold a big piece of land because we bought another piece of land. So we sold something that we've been wanting to sell. We finally sold it, and we're basically paying off the bank and on this other thing that we bought, right? But it's very quick now. It actually took like a week. right? Which is unheard of. You can't do that in America.
Yeah, we're going to see more and more of this with the Ethereum blockchain.
We're going to see a lot more of it.
Abroad in seconds.
The issue is Vietnam is like a test case for what's going on. Vietnam is kind of becoming like a Rockefeller, like they were with
because they've rejected the communist Chinese allegiance, and now obviously they need the allegiance with the West, and obviously they're paying into it by becoming a test ground for this.
That's what's happening. Right? So I mean, I got my plans. I know what to do to kind of step aside from that, to kind of do the sidestep from all that. But because I have income that comes in, right? So I know how to, get it there and be kind of off grid. Not everybody does. And the thing is what's going to happen from there? Where is that all going to come? Is all of the, if they don't use it for suppression, if they don't use it as a totalitarian, system, it could partially, you can say that there's, good components to it. The question is, do they use the pieces of that to make it into this totalitarian, like, I know where you are every second of every day moment, right? Like, are they tracking your habits? Are they tracking your spending habits?
Well, of course they are. Of course they are.
You would have to expect that, especially if they would probably have a little log file somewhere on everything.
They won't be tracking mine.
Have you got that meme you sent me where you showed me then like all of the jobs that were going to disappear from? It was amazing. Showing all the jobs that would disappear.
It's on WeChat, on WhatsApp.
I'll find it in a bit. But yeah, so we've got another thing kicking off in Netherlands. Police
Mike.
Stuff in Netherlands as well. Obviously, you're seeing the police just being attacked there. Obviously, what they do is they bring out the old, like in Germany, they bring out those fire trucks with the big hoses. They were banned in the UK. They were banned in the UK.
I just sent it to you again.
Okay, thank you. Let me have a look. Send it to me on Telegram. Do you mind? I can bring it up.
Yeah, okay.
Because this is a really interesting one. I want to bring up. And while we're waiting, this is a really interesting piece. Here we are.
So one of the things that I talked about 2 weeks ago,
for
everyone that wasn't here, it was the potential for a incredibly massive depression in the next bear market because of AI. Because AI is going to take so many jobs. We're going to have a really wicked stagflation situation going on economically. And you're going to see, because we've got the general equities markets now connecting to the blockchain markets, the typical bear market in an equities market is about 30% off the top. That's where you see the bear markets kind of recessions. Obviously in crypto, it's 3 times that, right? You see 95% off the top moves because of the parabolic moves that happen, and it just basically comes all the way back down. Now, because you have a real trifecta perfect storm going on, you're gonna see AI taking professional jobs away, a lot of them. It's gonna happen over time, and not all of them are gonna go, right? You're gonna get a law firm where the partners in the law firm are gonna basically have like data entry people that are gonna manage it, and they're gonna own the system that's created. But the lawyers are gonna be, the general population of lawyers are gonna be gone. And then you're gonna have the AI technicians, we'll call it, that are going to basically manage the cases, the profile of the cases and the data of the cases, the AI knowledge base from a legal aspect, right?
Yeah. So let's go through this. Let's go through. Why don't you talk through this thing? Because lawyers comes up on it. I thought this was really interesting. I shared it on my LinkedIn because everyone's talking about job losses, right?
I know Tesla robots take over my job.
Yeah,
so what job is that? What line of work is that?
I'm kind of like a factory worker-ish. I work in manufacturing, making like cables and whatnot. So it's like I know a robot can take my job.
Well, we got this one here. We got factory workers, right? So it says factory workers. Let me add this back to screen. Let's go through this one. So I think this is a really good meme to just kind of show it really well.
On the higher end, I make the Gucci of like audio cables. So like
so this is factory workers, total automation. How do you say that? Automation. Lights out manufacturing. Humans won't enter even production floors. 2029,
No.
2033. We got driving. So driving.
There's going to be one technician that oversees the system. Just imagine like a nuclear facility, right? In a nuclear facility, you got everything down in the nuclear facility, and you got like one nuclear tech that's sitting in an office watching the screen and lights and buttons and gauges, making sure everything's okay.
My grandfather used to make tires for Firestone, and he said when those machines came in, it took 5 people, but those machines came in, and one person can run 5 different tire machines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, there goes 5 jobs.
Yeah,
exactly. So that's going to happen times 100.
Yeah.
Imagine
we had it with Henry Ford, right? It was the first wave.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Same thing.
But it's on steroids.
Right. But
so
now,
let's have a look at driving. Self-driving becomes ubiquitous. 12 million drivers unemployed. But this is just for US. Uber, Lyft, trucking, dead. Right? We know that. That's an easy one. Now, this is an interesting one. Doctors. AI diagnoses better. Prescribes perfectly. Never forget symptoms. MDs become liability managers. Now, this is very true, right? Because let's talk about what Western medicine is. Pretty much what doctors are trained for. They're not trained to actually do anything but you go to your GP, your general practitioner, you say, oh, I've got these symptoms. And then they're trained to basically say, oh, he's got a runny nose, he's got a bad cough, he's got inflamed this, that, or whatever. And they narrow down through viruses or whatever they think you have, and they narrow down what they think you have through kind of a sheet pretty much. And now pretty much ChatGPT can do this. I'm sure you guys have been before.
So
let me investigate this myself.
So here's the thing. What's the third leading cause of death among humanity? Number 3.
Okay, let me guess.
Doctor misdiagnosis.
Oh, yes. That's medical mispractice. Yes, you're right.
So now imagine, right? I'm not going to say medicine is going to be perfect, but imagine you can no longer have misdiagnosis, and we can get into a situation where we can actually maybe break away from the old Rockefeller medical system and go back to natural osteopathy, natural medicine, and use AI in a way to bring back natural medicine. Listen, everything we have on this planet can solve everything in the human body, every single problem. Okay, God gave us everything that we need, right? It's mankind that messed it up. So if we can now use AI to create a situation to make medicine perfect, let's say, as perfect as possible, and take misdiagnosis, it's going to flow into what Ray Kurzweil says right around 2030 to 2032 is when humans are going to pass the event horizon of being able to live and double our lifespan. So we are us 3, everyone listening today, if you can survive for the next, let's call it 10 years, you're going to be walking into a situation, living into a situation where now medicine will be able to extend your life. I'm not talking about live forever. I don't want that. But where you can literally double your lifespan, that's just a starting point, right? Obviously, the scare is transhumanism, live 1,000 years, this and that, and you're not going to, you become soulless, and you've got everything else that you're not going to be with God and everything, right? That's not the issue, right? Like, I've got a wife 18 years younger than me. I'm 52. My daughter's 6. I wouldn't mind living an extra 20, 30, 40 years to see my daughter and my grandkids grow up, right? But I'm not talking about becoming Bicentennial Man. Okay? Bicentennial Man, if you know that movie with Robin Williams, where you get a full-on robot over like 300 years, I think it was, transforms and becomes, it's Robin Williams at the end. He looks human, right? And on his deathbed, the court panel finally approves the rights for him as a human being.
I remember that film. I gotta watch that one again. Yeah,
it's a very powerful film when you think about it. And if you think about it, it's like, man, they know the future. They've been there. That's why they made that movie, because they see where it's all going. So in 500 years from now, we're going to be able to, humans are literally going to be able to replicate their own, listen, a lot sooner than 500 years from now, right? In 10 years from now, you can already make your own organs. You can clone, you can stem cell your own heart, your own liver, your own organs. It's going to be like the island. There's going to be insurance. You're going to have clones. There's going to be a system, not necessarily clones. And maybe that is what's there now, like the movie The Island. But there is a system now where you're going to be able to literally do insurance, and through a program, you can set it up so you can, if you know you're going to have a bad heart because you've done your DNA, your genetic testing, and you're going to have a heart attack at the age of 75. Okay, you can prepare for that and make sure that doesn't happen, whether you need an organ transplant or whatever you need. That stuff's actually coming, right?
Yeah,
so
well, there are some positives of this stuff. So
that's what I'm saying.
Like,
it's
obviously,
not all
like,
bad. How do you use it?
Obviously, the fact that you're going to have a replacement mechanical heart, eventually you're going to be able to replace all organs in your body, which is good, right? Whether they be mechanical,
nothing to do mechanical.
Yeah, they're biological mechanical, right? So at the moment we have mechanical stuff, but there are some scary stuff on this list, right? So if we look at this military stuff, right? AI. So you take this two ways. You can take this two ways, right? So obviously we're looking at Russia and Ukraine right now, and 1.2 million young men have been slaughtered in this war, and it's awful. I think we all agree with that on this podcast. It's just absolutely awful, right? Seeing all these young men die for bankers.
Million men.
They're not dying for us. They're not dying for their people. They're dying for rich people, right? And it's disgusting. Whatever side you're on, whether you agree with Putin, whether you agree with Zelensky, whether
doesn't matter. It's too much.
Don't agree with either of them. Young men are dying. Like, we're lucky that we're not born in a country where we have to go and be forced into a trench. So some people would say, okay, humans don't enter production. Sorry, autonomous drones, robot soldiers, AI command systems, human generals obsolete, wars fought by machines. So in a way, you could say, oh, great. But what people don't understand is when that happens, right, these weapons like drones with tiny amounts of explosives that can fly into your head and explode, these weapons are always used on human populaces. It's never restricted to a battlefield. So that's the mission overcome.
What's the first thing we really
did it in the Caribbean with a boat? Didn't Trump just like annihilate a boat with one of those drones?
Really?
Oh yeah, it was a little Venezuelan drug boat.
That has to do with the AI part.
Yeah.
Too.
What's the first thing, Sammy? When you say this and you talk about the military and you talk about AI command systems, right? Robot soldiers. The first thing that comes to my mind is what? The year 2029.
I thought they said Terminator 2.
2029. Terminator. That's the year.
Yeah.
We're not far off.
Skynet.
It's right around the corner.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we're seeing it right now. With I remember I was following the Syrian civil war, even though it wasn't a civil war, and it was the first war. As someone who's a war historian, I've studied wars for years, right? And it's the first time I could literally go online and watch head cams, watch the maps that are updated live every day, and then watch the satellite footage, watch the drone footage, and watch literal head cams of people fighting and dying. And now what we're seeing with this Russia-Ukraine thing, it's all drone-based, right? We're seeing these drones just chase people around the battlefield. So now you're already seeing a limited amount of their use. But when you've got two huge powers like China or a US in maybe 15 years fighting these battles, two technologically capable enemies, human soldiers will be obsolete. You're going to have robots fighting because a human soldier is too soft and squidgy. It's scary, guys. Very scary.
Well, there's going to be there are already super soldiers that are biological soldiers. So the U.S. military, and I know the Russian military, has been experimenting for many, many years. Military special forces that have taken shots, they don't know what it is, and all of a sudden they have these special powers and abilities that they didn't have before. So they've been expanding on that. And then that they've also been making exoskeletons, military exoskeletons that you can now carry 500 pounds on your back and it feels like it's 50, right? Like all kinds of stuff like that's going on. And that's just like the tip of the iceberg. That's just the stuff that like we get to see. Just imagine that in a sci-fi movie times 1,000 and realize that, you
get mech bots going. Pretty soon they're going to have the mech bots. You know what I mean? The big ones that you jump in the cockpit and it's like a bigger version of yourself. I mean, they got that stuff in War.
They got that stuff in Warhammer 40K,
Pacific
right?
Rim.
But that's
the movie
what exists in
Pacific
real life.
Rim. The movie Pacific Rim, and then the movie Stealth with Jamie Foxx. So AI fighter jets is real. It's very, very real, guys. It's no joke how real that is, right? The new fighter jets now, the F-22, stealth bomb, all the big ones now, there's AI systems already in it. We already have fighter jets that are stealth. You just don't know about it.
I've heard of missiles out there that have AI in them to where if they like lose the part of the guidance or whatever, something like that, the AI will take over to the target. Like that's scary enough as it is, you know.
And obviously, I wanted to bring up another news topic, guys. This is a big one. So, have you seen this recent thing with Trump coming out today?
Yeah.
So this is a big one. This is a big one. So, just for everyone that believes that Trump is an isolationist, I supported Trump over the other option. I thought he was the lesser of two evils, and I still believe he is, other than the Democratic Party. But with his foreign policy, I was very I didn't really believe he's bullshit, that he's an anti-interventionist. So obviously you get people like Hillary who would have just thrown you into World War III by now, would all be dead. And Obama kind of with his escalation of trying to get in wars. He tried to get in the Syrian war. Luckily, the Senate voted him down, but he still bombed them, still armed the rebels, all that sort of stuff. What I'm worried about here with Trump is pretending. So he didn't, first of all, end the Ukraine war like he promised, right? Now he's kind of, in a way, not escalating it. He's not stopping it. And now what troubles me here is Trump today said he threatened the Afghanis, saying, we want to take control of this air base, which is a few hundred kilometers north of Kabul, right? And the Afghanistan foreign minister just replied a few hours ago saying, we will not give the Americans even one grain of our soil. But Trump threatened that there will be serious consequences if they disagree. And I thought I'd show people this on a map, right? This is not an obscure air base. So the US have an air base in this area, right? In this area and this area, right? So they've got air bases here, all on the border, but Iran is their enemy, right? And they've got no air bases over this side anymore. So they're worried about China moving air bases into here, Russia moving air bases into here. So now Kabul, the city of Afghanistan right now, there's an air base about here, Bagram, it's called Bagram. Yeah. Now Trump has said basically, we want this or there's going to be consequences.
So now you're saying that's Trump, what he's saying.
But he lost that war. He didn't lose that war.
Right.
I would say that the war was lost long before Biden came along. But yes, it was badly exited by Biden. But what I'm saying is, so now US want this airbase. And what happens if the Afghans say no and they've already said no? So now Trump is going to look weak unless he. So I would expect some airstrikes on Afghanistan in the next few weeks.
Yeah, and to even amplify that, the disconnection now with Israel that's recently happened is getting very serious, it looks like. Yep. And Israel just came out publicly and said they're no longer going to be asking the United States for permission for any military action. So
NATO's not going to be involved anymore?
NATO's already involved. They're going to continue to be involved. Yeah,
but if Israel just doesn't ask any permission,
right.
NATO's
going to do what they want to do autonomously.
Yeah, without NATO.
Correct. So we're walking into a situation now where I'm telling you, these are very, very smart people. You'll see some conflicts going on. I think it will start possibly in the next few weeks to next couple of months. And it doesn't need to be necessarily wait for the winter to thaw out because of airstrikes, right? It's all airstrikes. We don't need boots on the ground in the winter. So if Israel now goes into Iran and they just unilaterally, start air bombing, their plan will be boots on the ground in the spring. And then
I don't think so at all. There's no way they're putting boots. There's no way the West. No, I tell you, they've war gamed this. There's no way the West are putting boots on the ground in Iran.
No, not the West. Israel.
Well, no, Israel. I class Israel as the West. They haven't got the capacity to put boots. You're going to need at least 3 million soldiers to even have the possibility of even controlling part of Iran. There's no way they can do it.
Well, I don't think it's going to be a full out army. I think it's a special forces. I think that there's an operation within Iran.
I think they're more likely to try and secure their foothold either in Afghanistan and in Baghdad, each side, because at the moment they've got no frontline bases anywhere near Iran. That's the problem. They've got no launch pad for any of that.
Yeah, no, they do. They do.
Israel's a long way away. Israel's long-range bombers can make it to bomb Iran only through refueling midair, which is basically done by the Americans.
Right.
It's a very limited capability. Like, how many refueling jets have you got? Not many, maybe 40.
They have enough.
Yeah, it's not a long-term plan. I don't think, but yeah, I'm just worried about mission creep in the Middle East. Not sure what you guys think. So I'm a libertarian.
Well, I think we're coming into a time where there's especially doing the predictive engine model that we've been building. We've got escalation coming. I see escalation coming in the predictions that I've sent you, that the system's showing. And it makes sense that it would happen in the springtime of next year, especially after that memo leaked in France. So,
you think the hyper escalation of next year, like in April or whatever, to where we like top out in crypto and stuff, that would be like a kind of like top signal ish of another bear market? And
very
like
possible.
And stuff like that?
It's very possible. It's very possible. I think it's going to depend on what happens between now and then with crypto. The end of the year is when the CBDC, or I mean the Genius Act takes into effect. Is when
don't you mean the Clarity Act? The Clarity Act,
that's right.
Yeah.
And when you're going to pair the crypto stable coins with the US dollar fiat money, and then we have to see what they're going to do with that money, right? Trump has made some interesting claims about paying off the US debt with crypto. So they can easily buy bonds with that money, and they can create all that money, print so much of it, and then create the stable coins against it out of thin air and dilute it even more. But what did they do? They created buying power. And that buying power now is going to buy bonds, which is going to go into infrastructure and then go into possibly war. Or again, we don't really know until we kind of get there. But we'll have to see how it plays out when the end of the year comes in and we get the fourth quarter, big run. We'll see what kind of geopolitical news happens and what actually happens with the crypto side of that. Because if he pays off the debt, everything changes. We might get a massive run in the U.S. markets like we've never seen before. Never, that I hadn't seen since 1996 when I was a stockbroker, and I just found out what the internet was for the first time. Right. And I was buying options at 50 cents that were going to $20, $30 in a matter of a week. So we could see something like that again if he pays down the debt with crypto. But, again, if we got a war situation going on, we got a really major global conflict happening, we have to see who the players are. We have to see how it's being affected inside America, because let me tell you something, and I've talked about this on my other account before I got hacked, and everyone that knows me knows I've been saying this for years. There is a faction inside the United States that is getting ready to attack on the ground. There is a faction inside the United States that is an Islamic terrorist faction, that is a jihad faction, that is going to make an attempt on a mass scale event, and they're going to attack things like hospitals. They've got fake uniforms everywhere.
Okay, it's not going to be the Islamists that do it, though. It's going to be.
Osama had Al Qaeda in the United States for years before.
Because it was funded by the CIA. I mean, this is an internal enemy. This is Islamist terror is a weapon used by the CIA, and sometimes it backfires.
That's correct. I'm not debunking that. It was all, the whole thing, ISIS, how that all happened. I know where it all started. The fact of the matter is there are major generals in our country now because of them letting them come up inside the United States through Mexico, right? This whole thing in the previous administration was done for a reason. And now the plan is that there will be false flag operations. Yes, Hans, false flag operations. There will be jihad operations that will happen inside the United States. And if that happens at a time when we've got all the other international geopolitical issues happening at the same time, we're going to have a such
economic
World
crash
War,
as well.
War IV. Oh yeah, it's World War III.
All the job losses coming out from the AI. It's going to be horrible. Yeah.
Oh, just from the job losses alone, America's going to freak out.
Well, you're going to have UBI come in. UBI will come in.
I can't afford nothing. Just that alone,
is
going to be hard enough on the United States.
Yeah.
Listen,
so the state's going to say we have to control prices. We have to reallocate money to the peasants, and we're going back to a feudal system. It's
there you go, UBI all over again. Here's your money, and look,
because that is feudalism. It's a digital version of feudalism.
America's infrastructure is old, right? 1960s, 1970s. Where bright light, wherever you live, you can see right down the street. There's going to be on a corner a little substation somewhere with a fence around it. Okay, what's that fence doing? Nothing. All you got to do is take a little backpack C4 bomb, launch it over there, and what do you think is going to happen? And guess what? Go into the malls, and all you got to do is do it simultaneously, coordinate at the same time. Boom. And it's really easy to do that. And listen, I'm a patriot. I love my country. I'll be the first one to draw and protect it, right? But this is simply what can happen. It's not complicated.
I have to say at this point, disclaimer: we are talking hypothetically. We're wargaming.
Yeah, listen, I'm talking
about real life
stuff. I'm a political game theorist. I'm a game theorist that understands how you engage in war games.
Well, all this stuff is so important. Let's bring it back to crypto, because a lot of people were thinking I came here for the crypto, right? And these guys are going on about geopolitics now. But I think we can look at the charts, right? And that's our technical analysis. And we look at our fundamental analysis. We look at what Richard Hart's saying. We look at what Fundstrat's doing. We look at unemployment. We look at inflation. But a lot of other channels, they don't cover this stuff. It's the war gaming, because it's a large game of Risk. It's a large game of chess, or whatever board game is your favorite, Monopoly, whatever it might be.
Right.
For elites, it's a board game, and war is just another weapon in their chest. So I think it's important we cover this stuff, because it gives another side to forecasting the market.
It's important. And listen, you see that on my hat, right? Right? This is what I'm for. And I'm not for the evil side of it, right? I'm not for the imperialistic, side that has just been destroying so many countries around the world from the past administrations and all that. I'm for freedom and liberty. I'm to, allow people to live in a free society, right? We have to give people the ability to live in a free society, to worship, God in a free way. But that doesn't mean, because we have freedom of religion in America, that a million, Muslims can all of a sudden kneel down in the middle of the street and start praying. You want to pray, go to your mosque and pray. You've been buying up churches everywhere, and go into the mosque and pray. You're free to do that. It's completely fair. But once you start infringing on other people's freedom of assembly, freedom of movement, they'll arrest a woman with a bullhorn in the middle of the street because she's blocking traffic, and you'll see a cop. You've probably all seen that video, just completely take her out, right? Because she's impeding on traffic. But then all of a sudden, and where Samuel is in England, everyone, you start talking about God on the street corner. You start talking about Jesus on the street corner, and they're gonna take your megaphone away. But in New York City, in Washington Square Park, you all of a sudden got a couple 10,000 people kneeling down, completely covering the entire Washington Square Park in Greenwich Village, and they're praying for an hour. Right, and they're just disrupting everywhere. So look at what's going on in Dearborn. You don't have to be, you're blind if you're not seeing what's going on in Dearborn, right? So how is that going to affect crypto, right? How is that going to affect the markets? How is that going to affect BRICS? How is that going to affect BRICS? What are they going to do? Well, they're going to let the outside countries are going to let us implode ourselves, right? The enemy, let the enemy just destroy themselves when they're destroying themselves.
It's just like Putin calling out Trump for trying to fake pay off the U.S. debt with crypto kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying before. If he actually does it and it's paid off, guess what? It's paid off, right? But he's calling out the fact that we're creating what we're creating, right? He's calling out the fact that we're just going to create out of thin air all over again, do the same thing we've been doing in the past. You see? Thank you, Sammy, for bringing that. This is what's going on.
I didn't know this was going on.
Oh man, it's
Right
it's
outside.
worse than,
This used to be a Christian nation. You know what I mean? Or Protestant, whatever. You know, that's
America's
Europe.
a Christian nation. It still is. It's being taken over. It's being taken over silently by the Muslim Brotherhood, and that's what's happening. And the previous administrations was a part of it. Two before that were part of it. He is Muslim, by the way, the first black president of the United States. So, you know, I stayed in Indonesia in the elders.
You mean the first gay?
Yes, the first gay black
president,
married to a man. So when I was in Indonesia, one of the things I was doing there, I was following him, and I actually stayed in the house he was in 2 weeks before I was there during Ramadan. And I can't tell you why I was there, what I was doing, but I slept in the same room that he did. And I was trying to find out what was going on, who knew him, what they all thought, right? So it's complicated. But at the end of the day, how is it going to affect our economy? That's what I was saying before. What's going to happen in the March, springtime if we go to war? What's going to happen to the market? You're going to see, is there going to be a big flight to dollar safety? Is between now and then, we have to know. Well, of course, see, that's the thing. Are they going to pair the crypto stable coins to the US dollar before now and then? And that whole thing's going to happen. And they're going to pay off the debt before that happens. So if there's a flight to safety, it can be sustained. We're going to get a big correction in the market, and then that'll die off because you can't have that buying anymore. And then you'll see liquidity come in. You'll see the whole entire markets, or the Fed or whoever, all of a sudden QE big time, going to pump it even more, going to do it all over again, going to issue more stable coins, going to buy more. Because now, guess what? We can just do it again. We can double it now. Now we can print out more fiat, and guess what? Just print those new stable coins attached to it, right? So now the QE is going to be 2 times what it used to be.
Then you got wars to pay for in the future too. So,
right. And who gets that money, right? That money comes back into the economy, back into Raytheon, back into Lockheed Martin, back into Boeing, back into all these other, Bechtel and all these other companies that are,
and it comes back to crypto.
Right. And then that liquidity, where is that liquidity going to go? So then you're going to see once again this massive, massive boom. What I said 2 weeks ago was, here's the thing, right? If you remember that chart, that secular chart that I showed, the old chart, that shows the peaks and the valleys. Remember that one, right? 26 is a top.
Which chart?
26 is a top.
Yeah, but what's the actual chart ticker?
It starts the Bannon chart. Bannon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember what you're saying. Yeah, I remember what you're saying. I might have it. Yeah.
Charts you'll ever see. One of the most important. Here it is. One of the most important charts you'll ever see.
Yeah, we showed it a few weeks ago, right?
Periods when you make money. And you have to understand the cycle on this. And
you got to send it on Telegram. Oh, yeah, I got it.
And 26 is a major, major top. And it could be because we've got war coming and because AI. And when these two things happen, 26 is the 369 year, right? So we could potentially have a very bad 5 to 6 years leading between 2030 and 2032. In other words, we might have a bear market. We might have a depression.
So why don't you work back? Why don't you work back from this? Why don't you tell people your expectations of this bull run first? Because you keep talking about the bear market, but I think people are here. We're not even had the altcoin bull run yet. So why don't you tell people within a little bit of positivity? Tell them about your expectations for a window for them to make money before you start talking about all this negative stuff.
So I think we have a major AI bull market coming. Okay, and there's going to be all the stuff that I've been talking about with the crypto stable coins, the pumping of them both, potentially paying off debt, or just literally using the new stable coins to buy treasuries, all the liquidity coming. M2 global supply is again taken off. We're going to have, I believe, an extension to the cycle, because this was the first cycle, where Bitcoin reached a new high before the halving. So that tells you something. That's telling you that the cycle is changing. And then because the sovereigns, the institutions have been basically suppressing it for a long time, even though you see Bitcoin just holding that line going up, right? The rest of the market's really, like, look at Ethereum, right? Ethereum has been flat for 4 years. So now we've got a situation where we've got that explosive move coming. And I think if we have that extension into the cycle, it makes sense that it goes into next March or April into a potential global conflict cycle as well. But there's going to be a massive liquidity pump into that, right? Along with the Clarity Act, all the stable coins that are going to wind up happening. And if you look at, let's take the Ethereum chart, and if Ethereum does go into the teens, you're going to see that extension off the top of the trend. That's a blow off top. That blow off top is a very, very dangerous moment for people who are very positive. Like, I hope you're DCAing out during that time, right? So I don't know. Again, I've said before, if you take Bitcoin's highs from previous highs and look at the next high after that, you've had a 7x run, right? So do we have a 7x run again from 69,000 7x and we got a $440,000 Bitcoin? I don't know. Okay. Does it stop at 180,000? I don't know. We got this gigantic ace ascending triangle there, that just looks great. But at the end of the day, we all know what happens when that plays out. It could break out of that top and that's it. It's over. We've got now 5 years of you better be a bear, know how to sell, know how to short, know how to buy puts and all that. Because again, you've got the equities markets now connecting to blockchain. And I've said this for years and years. I've said this for the last 3 years on Twitter before it was X. Equities markets is now connecting to blockchain. Blockchain bear market is a 95% down move. Equities markets is a 30% down move. Let me tell you something. The equities markets is going to sustain a crypto bear market, and the general world is not going to know how to handle it. It's going to be a stagflation, depressionary period. But before that happens, what we're going to have is this tremendous liquidity cycle of tidal wave of cycle, including the XRP integration, right? So that's something big is coming on the XRP integration and the transformation of the banking system with XRP. I know that, I know that. Western Union's been using XRP for the last 3 years and went from 3 days to 30 seconds in a settlement. I'm talking a settlement able to use the money. So that's happening now. The banks are slow to move. They've been contracting with XRP for years, but they haven't been doing it yet. And in order to be able to make a bank transfer from one bank to another, anti-money laundering laws state that you have to have the same amount on the bank, on the receiving side, that you do on that's being sent. So if you're going to send $1 billion from A to B, B's got to have $1 billion first. So guess what? You better have $1 billion in XRP to accept the $1 billion coming over from here. So what's going to happen? You're going to get massive institutional buying pressure for XRP because they got to settle it in the treasury, right? For them to be able to use it, to send back and forth. And I'm not even talking about client money. That's just the treasury money in the bank itself to be able to actually use XRP. So that's what's happening. So when this all happens, and this is all going to start to happen in the next couple of months. So when this all starts to happen and you see the news come and you see the Stablecoin Act actually start to happen, and we're now actually creating these stable coins off the US dollar and that money buying treasuries, you're going to see interest rates just completely dive. Interest rates are going to just die because why? Bonds are going skyrocketing up. Why? Because all the stablecoin money is buying treasury bonds, buying US government bonds. Where's that money going? Right? That liquidity is going to go back into the market, back into crypto, back into the ability for people to do things, to get loans, right? To expand their businesses. Now, how long is that going to last? Honestly, I don't know. What we do know is the influx of money, when it tops, you have to think about how much better can you do the next time around, right? We're going to have the bursting of the bubble. Right now, look at the valuation of the stock market. The valuation of the stock market's at the highest it's ever been It's at its highest that it's ever been in history. The earnings per share multiples, all the multiples, we're in the biggest bubble we've ever been in, bigger than the dot-com bubble when I was a stockbroker in 2000. Okay? This is the biggest multiple bubble that we've ever seen in history. Okay? You want to talk about tulip bubble in Holland in the 1600s? Yeah, sure, fine. Those are fucking flowers, right? Now we're talking about something that's going to be affecting the rest of the people's lives forever. So what we're going to see is this massive influx of money that's going to come in, and it's going to probably make the biggest bull market altcoin season run that we've ever seen in our history so far in the last 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. It's going to be bigger than we've ever seen. The problem is we can't get any bigger than that. And that's the bursting of the bubble. So from there, where do we go? Right? We're going to build the economy. We're going to build what we're going to build. I got plans. I'm building, right? I'm building an
Can you guys
platform.
talking about what he's talking about? Let's play this clip. Can you hear it? Let me know if you can't.
You play it.
Genius Act, which passed recently, provided clear rules for crypto stablecoins. This was a historic piece of legislation, and the Trump administration did an incredible job pushing this forward. Of course, both President Trump himself, who said that he wants the United States to be the crypto capital of the world, and folks like Senator Haggerty and David Sachs, and a number of people came together to pass that. There's now one more piece of legislation that, as you said, got bipartisan support in the House already and now is being debated in the Senate. And this is what we call market structure legislation, which just simply means it's covering all of the non-stablecoin crypto assets, things like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And it's resolving some of these outstanding issues from the last administration that got weaponized by people like Gary Gensler trying to go after the crypto industry because it wasn't clear, were these a commodity, were they a security? So this legislation is making great progress. I've never been more bullish on the chances to get it passed into law. This freight train has left the station, and there's people on both sides of the aisle in the Senate that are eager to get this legislation put on the books. Now, this hasn't stopped the big bank lobby from coming in trying to throw a wrench into things. They actually want to go in and ban rewards on stablecoins, and that was already settled in the prior Genius Act that I just mentioned. But I'm not too worried about it. The senators we spoke to aren't really going to entertain reopening that issue, and so hopefully this legislation gets passed into law very soon.
Well, listen, this is one of the rare topics that Congress comes together on.
What? They came together on something?
Well, remember, both sides in politics, they're taking money from somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
So have you heard the theory about this is a big ploy for the US to lower its debt and pay off its debt? Have you heard this? The Russians are pushing this one. They're saying that the US are pushing.
I'm trying to see the sleight of hand that they're doing with it.
So what I'm saying is, if this is a great scam for the US to pay off a lot of its debt by debasing where it wants to take control of the monetary system through crypto, through blockchain, which I think is the plan. To replace the oil, to replace the gold, they have to go digital. So they have to have mass dominance. So the Russians are now saying that the US are going to debase the stable coins at a certain point to pay off their debt. And then suddenly they're going to basically control delete and start the program, restart Windows. That's what they're going to do.
That's correct. And they will. And look, you can say, okay, it's manipulation.
But the question is, I had on that point, that was not a statement. The question is, Vin, when they do press the control delete, even people like us who are bullish on blockchain, are we as holders going to get hurt by that decision if we hold through it, or is it worse than that?
Or do we need to hold stable coins?
Well, the issue is, and I think if Bitcoin's used to pay off debt, there's going to be a deal that you can't sell the Bitcoin, right? If stable coins are used, doesn't matter. So the question that you're asking is the general market going to get hurt if the United States debt is paid off? I would say no. I would say it's going to completely explode the economy because now you have no debt. It's simple as that. At the end of the day, no matter what happens, the debt's gone, right? There's going to be a deal made.
Yeah, the problem is China will say, most of your debt is with us. Now you're not paying us, so you've defaulted on our debt.
Most of the deaths with Japan,
So,
not
so
China.
would that not lead to the war we're talking about potentially?
No.
Would that be part of it?
No, because there's already been an economic war with China.
So
Okay.
China will be replicated and given a fair seat. They'll be given their worth in the new system. Is that correct?
They've already been changing from US dollar to yuan in so much of what they do. The main treasury holder now is Japan. And what you've seen in the last 5 years is Japan, and because of this, the deal was that Japan has put more money in their military than they ever had before. The Japanese military is actually exponentially bigger because they've become the biggest holder actually of US debt now. So this is all, there's a master plan behind this, right? There's not going to be a war, I don't think, with China. I think China is going to stay out. And I don't even think that they're going to go into Taiwan while we're busy in the Middle East because of the Japanese military and the exposure that they will have to the growth in the Japanese military that no one's talking about. But that's actually what's been happening. I think there's what you're not hearing real talk in Beijing, and you're not hearing real talk in Taipei in Taiwan about this anymore. It's gotten very quiet for some time. I think that that's not an issue. But to get to the question that you had asked, is that, are we going to get hurt by the U.S. debt being paid off in a fashion that Trump's talking about? I say, from an economic perspective, categorically no. The opposite will take effect. We will have a massive explosion in the economy. We will have a massive explosion in the general markets. How long that will last for, I don't know, because the markets, they price things in so fast now. We might have a 30 to 60-day explosion in the markets that we've never seen before, and that's it. And then it'll stay there.
Well, Tom Lee is calling. So we started off this conversation with, I asked you, obviously you're predicting a very catastrophic and fast downfall in the stock market next year. I think you're kind of estimating Q2 to Q3.
Later than that, it's going to get really bad.
Let's keep it open. Let's keep it open. And I've asked you your timescale for the bull run, right? So I guess the main question is, do you think that this cycle is going to get extended? And at which time will PulseChain holders probably get their window for glory, do you think, with your current estimation? So
the first is, I think, look, we've got to see how this plays out with the stable coins and what they do with that money. If Ethereum seems to top out around 6,000 to 8,000 and at the top of the channel, and it doesn't make a breakout move, and we're already in March or April, that's it, right? I think that might be it. But again, economically, what else is happening, right? Did they all of a sudden pay off all the debt? That might completely change the game. And that, we have to see geopolitically what's going on in this time frame that we're talking about. I don't think PulseChain is going to make its real move until Ethereum, until the proper altcoin season starts, right? And when the proper altcoin season starts, I think PulseChain will probably lead the way because we know the big bags that are waiting. We know the amount of Ethereum that's going to probably go into it.
Yeah. So according to your time scale, you're saying, so let's say ETH goes and makes his jump up, touches 6K around, let's say within the next month, right? You're saying then we'll have some consolidation. Then you're going to see altcoin season, perhaps, let's say November, December, January. Is that realistic?
Yeah, that's realistic. But we might see a really bloody December. Yeah,
so we might see even Hex PulseChain start to move, maybe something like November through to February. That's possible, right?
Hey, remember?
Do you think it's going to be a very short window? I mean, what's your expectation on that?
I have a feeling history is going to repeat itself. It's going to rhyme very, very close. And I study isometric projections, so I'm looking at the past history. And I have a feeling the way it's looking now that we're going to have a run like Hex will run, PulseChain will run, the cores will run like Hex did in 22 when it topped out, and it went from January to September, and it made this massive, massive run, right? I wouldn't be surprised.
I'll be honest. At this point, I've almost I've given up on the expectations of everyone says 10,000x or 100x.
I don't know what the number is going to be. I'm just thinking time
I've tempered my expectations for 10x. You know, I've got to act like that because
you have to. Sure, I understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying to myself, if we get a bit, we have to look at the cycles, how it goes from Bitcoin to Ethereum to the alts, okay? Because that's ultimately what's going to happen. So when are we going to see, you know, the longer that Bitcoin bases here and then makes its run into the fourth quarter run, you know, where does that run top out? We don't really know. Is it 180? Is it 200? Is it 225? You know, we don't know. Is it going to make another double top like it did in April of 22 when Richard called it the top on the day, right? When it did that, that was in the spring. That was in the springtime. And what happened after that? You had a massive altcoin season that was going on that no one really kind of knew about. Hex was taking off. There was all kinds of things going on. Now we got PulseChain, a whole entire ecosystem, right?
Well, can I say one thing? Do you remember Pulse Doge? So this is the area. I'm gonna draw this now. This is the area where this part here is where Pulse Doge launched, right? And we made 3 9x's in this period, and where Pulse Bitcoin, so where Bitcoin was going down 77%. So that shows you that there's a lot of money to be made in the bear market. A lot of money to be made in the bear market.
But it's a Bitcoin bear market.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the rotation, right?
And
that money coming out of Bitcoin and going into Ethereum.
6 months from the high to low. So we all go on like we're in the bear market for a long time. But if you're in Hex, yes, you've been in the bear market for 4 years. But if you've been in Bitcoin, you're only in bear market for 6 months.
Very short amount of time. And the smart people, and it wasn't me back then, are making their money in the alt when Bitcoin is going down. They're catching that alt season right there, and they're taking those profits and getting back into Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. So I think what I'm going to do after this bull run, right, whatever I make on a PulseChain, whatever I make on all my other assets, I'm basically going to be investing it back into my own private store of value. So I think everyone should have their own store of value. A lot of people don't have this as part of their portfolio. Everyone plans their portfolio for what they're doing to maximize profits in this, window of different seasons we're having. But when this ends, a lot of people's strategy is to simply withdraw that money to fiat in their bank account. Now, depending on where you are, you're most probably going to pay upwards towards 50% in taxes, right? And then you're going to be holding your money for possibly a few years, probably buying property, wasting the money. And then you'll find you've probably only got 20% of the money left before you then come back to market, where that's completely the wrong thing to do. What you have to try and do, this is my opinion, is keep as much money on chain, especially if you're in DeFi, right? Taxable events only really occur, and your government's ability to track this stuff only reoccurs mainly when you come from DeFi into the system.
When you repatriate your money back to your bank.
So you're thinking, oh, I want to buy that car. Oh, I want to take my girlfriend on a holiday. Oh, I need to buy a new kitchen. Well, keep the money in DeFi, and you're going to find lots of options to spend that money through DeFi credit cards, things like that, where you don't have to take your money off chain. And I think that's going to be the key. That's the thing that DeFi has to learn.
Look, I've said this 2 weeks ago. I think we're in a dangerous situation where we can have a very dangerous bear market because of the stagflation and the equities markets connecting to blockchain. And the bear market could potentially come. And again, I used this last time. We'll say it again. Look at in the year 2000 or so, Amazon.com, it dropped 95%. It went from 10 in the year 2000 something to a couple thousand where it is now, right? So if we get the same kind of deplosion, of just complete and utter stagflation situation because of artificial intelligence and jobs getting, basically going away, we're going to be in a very dangerous situation.
They've tokenized the Apple stock already. Look at this. Since about 2 weeks ago. Look at that. And it's tokenized Apple stock. Right. We're making history.
So again, if you look at how volatile crypto is, it's not out of the realm if we get into a dangerous stagflation environment to where Bitcoin comes back down to the low of the last bear market.
So I was just seeing copper's going crazy, man, on the price.
Oh yeah,
lithium selling off actually. I bought lithium down here back in 19. I had a really good run on lithium. I had a really good run on lithium and timber. They were my best performing assets a few years ago.
You have silver on there?
Silver's here, yeah. That's on the other one. But silver's ready for a massive move up. I mean, it's already been performing well, but
so this is another very geopolitical situation because silver has been suppressed for industrial purposes for a long time.
Look at that silver chart. Look at that.
And beautiful. It's going back to the God ratio. So it's at an 80-1 to gold now. It's going to go back to like 18-1. And you're going to see silver here breaking over 50. When it breaks over 50, the high is 49.61 cents. So when you see
it's breaking out right now. This is a colossal move.
50. Yeah. We want to see 50. We want to see it over 50.
It's a measure move here. We're making silver is a really good buy right now, honestly.
And this is a cash. This is, gold and silver is not considered an investment. These are cash equivalents. Okay. This is really important. Instead of keeping your money in fiat right now, you keep your money in gold or silver. I was screaming it when Hex.
We need to put up the silver gold ratio. That'll be an interesting chart.
Remember a few years ago when Hex went up when the government, when I think, was it not when Brexit happened, but when something happened in England and you saw the market just get destroyed and Hex was going up and it was a gold got really volatile. And I was screaming it on X that all of your cash equivalent should be in gold or silver. And silver was at like 24, gold was at like 1,800 or something like that. I got my institutional friends that had, billions of dollars in gold asking me what to do when gold was at 1,800 and it was in this downturn. And I was explaining to them how it's about to go to 4,000, right? Of course, now, they disappear and say thank you, but that's it, right? So we're in a situation now where you're going to see a decoupling of industrial suppression in silver, and the God complex is going to come. The God complex, the God ratio is going to come back, and we'll be in more of a hard money metal of a hard metal money environment. I think that there's going to be notice since they never went into Fort Knox. We don't know what happened in Fort Knox, that Elon wanted to audit Fort Knox and died out of the media. Something's coming. I'm telling you, something's
Elon
coming.
probably got told there's no gold in Fort Knox or something. Yeah, something's definitely coming. No, I'm speculating on that, but yeah, that was they were talking about it, and then all of a sudden nothing about the audit of the Fort Knox again.
Yeah.
And then Doge went away. Like Elon got pissed off. Trump and him were fighting.
Saya.
Yeah. Like, oh, thanks, guys.
Saya, as all planned.
Yeah.
That disconnection was planned. So we'll see what happens with it. We'll see what happens. But yeah, look, I think to get back to your question, Sammy, I think we're going to see a massive influx of money. There's going to be a money wall that's going to come. There's a lot of components that are going to make that happen, from XRP to all of the stable coins, creation with the fiat money, things that, Brian Armstrong was just saying. And the issue, though, is going to be what happens after that. Can they keep it going? Are we going to see the stagflation of AI jobs gone, all taken away? And how is that going to affect Main Street? And that's where we've got a real decision to make when we look at the markets and we say, okay, we're going to be in an interesting time cycle now. After 26 top, we've got until 2032. Pull that chart up again, Sammy.
Which one?
After
Sorry, I ignored all the comments, guys, but it's good to see you. Good to see you commenting.
Yeah, please keep.
Looks like we got gold bugs and silver bugs in the audience here.
That's good. That's good. I'm telling you, it's important to have it as part of your. I got silver in my house. Look, pull up that. The other,
but you've also got guns, right?
A lot of them.
Don't make it too inviting.
Look, we've got a moment where from 26 to 32 is going to be a dangerous cycle. So no matter how it seems like this money flow is going to come in and everything's going to seem great, there's a reason why you see that 369 error in that chart top at the mid cycle in 2026 and it bottoms in 2032. That's going to be the transformation age. That's
so
you
mentioned
AI.
when we look at that chart, right? We get the 369 there, and obviously Richard talks a lot about 369. I'm not massive into numerology. What is the 369 thing? Why is that so important with PulseChain?
So Nikola Tesla says that's the formula for the universe. The number's 369. Just look it up. It's the isometric formula for the universe is 369. Okay. So ultimately just realize that chart we pulled up before tops in 2026 for a reason. It bottoms in 2032. What's going to happen between 26 and 32 is going to be the AI revolution, and it's not necessarily good for everybody. I know it's
That's
heavy.
when the Tesla robots start getting sold for 20 grand, right?
Yeah, I mean, by that time, I would say when the Optimus is in every house, it'll be 2032 when that starts to go up again. If you think about it, when the Optimus robot is your plumber, is in 2032. 2032 is what Ray Kurzweil said as the extension of life event horizon starts. Right.
That would complete the 100-year kind of like cycle of like the Great Depression. It kind of put us in a depressionary event right then and there when AI is taking over and robots are coming into houses, people are losing their job, right? Or can you hear me?
If you look at that chart and you see how it very quickly goes from 32 to 35, Sammy, can you throw that up again?
Which
from
chart?
2032.
Which chart? You got to say which chart?
The old yellow chart periods when you can make money.
Oh, okay.
I sent you on Telegram. So what you just said, the 100-year cycle, there's and I talk about this sometimes, there's a 138-year Phoenix cycle. And the last cycle was in 1902. And the Phoenix cycle comes every 138 years in cycles of 4. And the fourth cycle is the cataclysmic cycle. That's the year 2040 and the nemesis cycle of 2046. So that chart bottoms, it tops from 2026 down to 2032, and then very quickly goes up to 2035. There's only a 3-year move in there, right? It's interesting how you see this move. The one before that was from 2012 to 2019. At least it was 7 years, right? Now you've got a 2032 to 2035 cycle. That's just 3 years down again to 2039. Now we're getting into the Phoenix year cycle of 2040, and that's Agenda 2030, agenda, all this stuff that WF's been talking about. All that is what you're looking at. But just think about what's going to happen with AI between 2026 and 2032, and what I've been talking about, where Bitcoin comes, back down to the lows of the previous bear market. So if you're like a round tripper and you think you're just going to hold, you might want to consider not doing that as much as you can, because we don't know what's going to happen in the next down move. What's that?
It's like another 9 years from the bottom to the next bottom.
So much happens. So much can happen in between those two time frames, right? From 32 to 39, you're going to have a massive AI run. There's going to be a massive technological run between 2032 and 2035.
From 2039 to 2050 is even longer. That's like,
yes, and that's going to be that. Who knows how that plays out. But we've got these cycles here. This is a really, really important chart to remember. This always plays out. Look at 2007. That was a top. What happened in there? The financial crisis. Where were we in 2012, right? The world time shift changed in 2012, the fake Mayan calendar, right? What happened in 2019? Massive top, massive, huge top since then. Right. So, we've got like these mini cycles inside of them. There's all kinds of things happening here. I'm very concerned about this 2026 top that we're looking at here. It's playing into what I've been saying. This whole restructuring and reconfiguration of the financial system is going to put a lot of people out of business, going to put a lot of companies out of business. AI systems going to put a lot of people out of the jobs. Everything's going to be restructured. And that's never easy to deal with. You have to really understand how to navigate through that time cycle in order to get out of it, with your pants on still, pretty much.
I thought we might play a little old Hex song for a bit of fun here. And then after this, we'll have some closing statements. And then I guess we'll call it there. We've done a nice 2.5 hours hit, or 2 hour, 20-minute stream.
Yeah, right on.
I think it's nice to go long format like this. I've really enjoyed just hearing you guys just spitball and the way we've danced around different subjects. It's been really entertaining for me. I hope everyone else has enjoyed it. I've got a lot of value.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I like it.
So let's hear Stake Money by Black Crypto. And then after this, we'll play a little bit of this, get everyone's vibes up, because we are going to the bull run with PulseChain. And then we'll come back, have some closing statements, and then we'll exit and see you all next week. But let's have a little go at this. Can you guys hear it?
I can't. Oh, barely.
Turn it up.
Don't know how. Oh, let's try.
There we go.
Staker with a motherfucking bag. When I came back, it was more than I had. Like, damn, homie, I don't mean to brag, but you trying to get a bag. Well, you need to get the out. Pull up on my staker with a motherfucking bag. When I came back, it was more than I had. Like, damn, homie, I don't mean to brag, but you trying to get a bag. Well, you need to get the out. Pull up on my staker with a motherfucking bag. When I came back, it was more than I had. Like, damn, homie, I don't mean to brag, but you trying to get a bag. Well, you need to get the out. Take money, then you stake money. Stake money, then you make money. Make money, then you take money. Take money, take money. Take money, then you stake money. Stake money, then you make money. Make money, then you take money. Take money. Black AC crypto, yeah, that's the new lick, bro. On ramp my fee out to see what it hit for. Came for a flip and it grew by the XO. I don't know what's next, so I keep watching head so. Foot on the gas, I ain't talking no petrol. Hope bitches say let's go, so PulseChain can explode. Locked up my ex, now I just watch it just grow. 5555 help me vibe like I'm Bezos. No counterparty, I don't rock with Tezos. We the new kids on the block like a Lego. Check the statistics, they global, not local. The price going local, got folks on they FOMO. Don't share your C phrase, you know that's a no-no. Scammers on go trying to get to your dough, bro. 5555 to it, that's for the promo. In essence for Staker, got that on the logo. Take money mission, trying to stack my paper up. Stake money mission if you're trying to add it up. Wait mission if you really want it bad enough. It's a moon mission for you if you really had enough. First take money, get a water, fill it up. Then you stake money, get the app and lock it up. Then you make money while the number going up. When it's time to take money, you gon' probably double up. Pull up on my staker with a motherfucking bag. When I came back, it was more than I had. Like damn, Homie, I don't mean to brag, but you trying to get a bag where you need to get the out. Take money, take money, take money, then you stake money. Stake money, stake money, then you make money. Make money, then you take money. Take money, take money, take money, take money, take money, then you stake money. Stake money, then you make money. Make money, then you take money. Take money, take money.
Nice.
You're muted.
Let's make some money this run. Let's hope so, eh, guys? Let's stay bullish, stay positive. Any closing words, Vinluck?
Bright Light, you go first.
Don't sell your hex. Don't sell your bags right now because we got some more to go, man. I know there's a lot of complaining and stuff on X and stuff like that, but go out, touch some grass if need be. Leave them alone. Your assets will be fine. And when you start seeing them go up, that's probably when you want to start paying attention to them. And with that said, I had a great time joining this stream. Nice meeting you, Vinluck. And yeah.
Man, you're a great guest. You're welcome anytime, man. You're welcome anytime.
All right. Thank you.
You know, we've all been through a lot. Life's taken turns, definitely in my life. Some strange ways sometimes, you know. I've done some wild things in my life. And I definitely found Christ as a part of that. I found a lot of a love in a lot of people in my life. I've made and lost fortunes in my life for some reason. And I think, you know, for the people that are, you know, investing in the markets now, you're about to go for a ride. Have a plan, stick to the plan. Do not be emotional. Take the emotions out of it. Find yourself in a very calm and soothing place with that plan, right? Hear what I've said today. I hope that you take it to heart and you hear the things that I've said and you remember when these things start to play out, that, you know, have that plan to get out, because 26 to 32 is going to be a wild ride for society. And there's always going to be another trade. There's always going to be something around the corner. We're building a portfolio of platforms that we're going to be building through the next down cycle, that will be fighting the AI Antichrist, that will be tokenizing XRP, assets on the XRP ledger, a couple other things as well. I've got an album, a Christian rock album out. Go to my Twitter. It's pinned on there. Vin of Avalon on Suno. I'm going to be launching it public soon.
What's your Twitter handle? Drop it in the comments because you forgot to do that last time.
It's well, at Pulse Nation 369 is my Twitter, is my X handle.
All one word, yeah.
Pulse Nation 369, one word. Please follow me. You'll see Vin of Avalon.
I spelled it wrong.
Yeah, you'll see my my Suno account is Vin of Avalon on there. Please listen to it. I hope you rock out to it because it's a lot of fun to listen to. And I'll be doing that launch soon. We've been working on a predictive model that has been putting out some amazing predictions, and I've been beta testing it for a while.
I've been beta testing it too, and it's fucking awesome, man.
Dude, it's wild,
we got
right?
the sports betting, we got the predictive models. It's amazing. It's really cool. Maybe we'll drop some teasers in. What we'll do next week, we'll drop some predictions in, right, with our percentages, and then we'll see in a month's time if those, or a few months' time, if those predictions have come correct.
Well, we've got a handful of them that we've got now. The sports model was it's actually.
Are we allowed to say what it's going to be called or not, or should we not say that?
Not yet. We're close.
We'll keep that close. Yeah.
I mean, I got the website. I got it all there.
Yeah.
I mean, we're really, really close to having it. This is something that, and I've looked.
It's basically an AI. If you're an investor, it's an AI model where you can ask this thing questions, and it's really trained to give you predictive models very logically and specifically on, let's say, you're interested in the interest rates in the Middle East, or you're worried about the chance of war in Thailand, or you're worried about homeowners rate going down in a certain area. So this is an AI model which we're working on, which will specifically target and assist you as an investor when you're looking at markets.
And here's the thing. It's not just like you're asking Grok or ChatGPT. Okay. It's not at all. There's some formulas that I've embedded into it that are extremely detailed, that I've gone through comprehensive analysis of these and asked AI, is there anything like this out there? And I'm telling you, this is something that is extremely unique. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to build it. It's going to be something that's going to be a subscription-based model. There's going to be yield. You're going to participate in the income of the platform itself. So you're going to gain yield when you stake your tokens on there, and it's going to be hyper deflationary. And then we have the XRP protocol that we're going to be building for the average person to tokenize their own assets, and to basically launch token with their assets. I've spent many years as a project underwriter. And,
so for example, in real terms, let's say I'm building an orchard this autumn, right? And let's say I have 30 apple trees. I can then go and explain to me how I do that and why I would do that. I can go onto the XRP blockchain through your model and then tokenize those assets.
Right. And you can use those tokens for leverage. You can sell. You can actually sell more of them to raise capital, to then expand it some more, expand that farm. I own a very large farm in Vietnam.
Is it similar to the way that if in the old days, if I had an apple farm or an apple orchard, I would go to public and then seek money through the stock market, right? But now instead we're going to the blockchain and seeking funding and offering shares essentially in the company ownership through the blockchain. Is it simply that model?
Yeah, it's basically something just like that, right? And you can use that tokenized asset. You can use the capital. You can use those tokens for obviously a variety of reasons. For expansion, and basically for expansion, right? There's going to be use cases on there, an explanation of what you're going to be doing and why you would do this and all that. That's all built into that. But what's happened is what we built is the entire, from the xrpledger.org site, all of the monetization documents, right? From the legal opinion to all the declarations, to all of the legal documents that show ownership, making sure it's not encumbered, all of these things that you would use to basically go to a bank and say, here, give me a loan. Okay, I'm going to let you encumber.
Yeah, and you're also cutting out huge lawyer fees as well. Because usually you have to pay people to go into this.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be very expensive for anybody to basically use XRP Ledger to tokenize it because of the legal aspect that you have to do. It's not just to say, oh, I've got some bonds and I'm just going to, here's the QSIP and the ISIN number. And it's like, you got to hold, those have to be held somewhere. This is what I did in institutional consulting for a long time, right? You've got to take these assets and you've got to have them encumbered to this. Make sure they're not encumbered somewhere else also. So you got to do that in a specific way, and it's not cheap to do it. What we're doing is making it cheap for the average person to do it. And when I say average person, average millionaire, average this, average that, you own 14 apartment complexes and you want to make a fund out of it, you want to tokenize the whole thing, things like that, right? It's going to be very cool. But what it is,
it's a really good family wealth building system. It's a way to build family wealth without having to go to third parties. And I think a lot of people are worried about inheritance tax in their countries, about losing value. They build up value in their life and they want to pass it down to their kids. And with current systems, it's pretty much getting eaten by the government and third parties. So this is a way to keep your money in your own form of trust on the blockchain through clever smart contracts without having to go back to the layer of government or bank. So what we're talking about here is really layering your crypto experience. And this is the birth of Web3, pretty much.
It is. And one thing that we're going to do as a component to this for people is show them how to use the trust system and have everything in a environment that is protected, let's just say for now. So again, please go to our X profiles, follow us. Please go to my music album. I hope you rock out and enjoy the songs. Leave me a message on X. Tell me what you like, what you don't like, how much you love it. Because I'm telling you, I can't. I listen to it all the time. I rock out to it all the time. And you know, I pray for everyone that's listening today. I pray for you, Sammy, where you're living. I hope you keep safe and stay safe, man. And may us all, may God look over you and keep your armor of God on you, man. And I hope everyone around you and your loved one is always safe in where you are over there. It's a bit of a trying time. And you know, we'll just go from there. Hopefully we'll have a good week this week. And we'll kick some ass. We'll take some names, and in the name of God, may the markets just take off soon.
And you know what, guys, if they don't, I will be making updates. So don't worry. If the market goes down, don't panic. Don't get upset. Don't get depressed. You know, we're here with you. We're near the end. So stay positive and just stay in touch. And we're gonna win.
Right on. See you guys
Take
later.
care, guys. God bless you.
Woo, witnessing greatness.